her numbers as well as going for a doctorate at the same time.
Yeah.
She's been getting busy, but every player on here is worthy of it. Asia Wilson is just a monster in terms of her consistency at Paige Beckers, but Olivia Miles, the spectacle, the show
for this season.
all of them are worthy. Right now, I mean, look at Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, her numbers as well as going for a doctorate at the same time.
Yeah.
She's been getting busy, but every player on here is worthy of it. Asia Wilson is just a monster in terms of her consistency at Paige Beckers, but Olivia Miles, the spectacle.
You know who has a doctorate in scoring at will? You know who has a PhD in basically carrying a team? Do you know who's got an MBA, a BS, an AAS, an AA, a BS, a master's degree in triple doubles? I would give you one Caitlin friggin' Elizabeth Clark, who right now has basically catapulted herself in the MVP conversation. And that's where we begin on this Saturday edition of On Cue. Rich Quinones is here. Happy Saturday, Q Crew. Get in on the conversation early, often. Let's get at it. Let's back it up. Let's debate. Let's have a little fun. Let's be engaging. Unbelievable again last night with the triple. Messing around with a triple-double last night. Forget about the buzzer beaters. Forget about being cracked in the jaw. Forget about everything this young kid does. Right now, you have to be genuine. You've got to be serious. And you've got to put her in the conversation when we're talking about league MVP. And I'm going to back it up. I am going to back it up. But it shows you once again last night. How the media, how broadcasters, how they push their own agenda. They push their own narrative. I mean, the fact that they just gloss over the effort last night. 26, 10, and 10. Fourth career triple-double. This team scores over 100 again, $112. They've been on absolute fire as they beat the Fire last night, 112-98. This team has been on a run. They've won fifth straight. They're putting it together at the right time. And as I said, I've got the numbers to back it up on this Saturday afternoon. But it speaks volumes how everyone can kind of pick and choose where they want to lay their hat. Everyone can kind of pick and choose what direction they're looking at when they want to give credence, when they want to give credit, when they want to be objective or not. And I can tell you this right now. Watch that game. And I told you guys this several days ago, and I always talk about this in leagues. When you are debating MVP and you are waiting for a player to start to separate themselves, basically you're waiting for them to distance themselves. Forget about Vegas, forget about the books, forget about the short odds, because the odds still haven't moved in our favor, which is ludicrous. But the fact last night that they just glossed over her, and oh, by the way, after she gets glossed over, what does she do? After they show that graphic up, what does she do?
And Caitlin Clark, there's always time when you've got the range. They will take a look at it, and it is good.
At the same time, yeah, she's been getting busy, but every player on here is worthy of it. Asia Wilson is just a monster.
And then Caitlin Clark, there's always time when you've got
the spectacle.
There you go. When you have the range, the spectacle, the shooting, I'm telling you, if there's anyone, and you got some writers out there that are starting to kind of recognize it. They're starting to put two and two together that when the product is good, it's good. And I told you, I'm getting into the numbers in a minute, but I want you guys to get in early and often. Always let me know where you're chiming in from, where you're chatting in from. Last night, the triple-double, they win the game. The conversation today, obviously, is talking about what she's doing up to this point, because it is a hot topic when you talk about the league MVP conversation. And when you throw graphics up there, when you start to put in players like a Stewart, like a Buckets, like a Mitchell, like a Miles, like a Wilson, you now have to put Clark in there. And I think she surpassed Buckets. I think she surpassed Mitchell. I'll get into Stewart. I'll get into Wilson in a moment. But you've got to look at what she's doing on the floor, and that's trumping what these other players are doing, considering the circumstances. Considering the circumstances. That's the 4th triple-double of her career. Okay? Now, again, you talk about other players that have done it. Well, forget about the regular season. I'm not talking about all time with Shepard with 5 and Thomas with 20. She is carrying the team. You're seeing Mitchell's trying to get her. She's a volume shooter. She shoots a lot. Sometimes she does a way too much ISO ball. We understand late in the game, what did they do last night? They took Clark out because of defensive purposes, because sometimes of her lack of paralysis. But if you look around the league, and those that are going to start to criticize, and push back and say, well, what about some of those turnovers? I get it. Paige has 13 turnovers in her last 5 games. She scored 23 last night. They've lost 3 straight after a 7-game winning streak. Same example I use in the NFL. Quarterback gets hot, loaded team, here we go. Then the opposite happens. The scoring's down, the stats not there, the quarterback's struggling. This is what makes it, again, a really interesting conversation. At least to me. At least to me, this is what makes it a very interesting conversation, because there's no right or wrong, there's just opinions, and it's extremely subjective. It really is. It's extremely subjective. But I think what stands out when you start to talk about what she is doing, the elephant in the room, what she's doing it in a condensed time period. She's not playing 35 minutes, 36 minutes, 37 minutes a night. Wilson's playing 31 minutes. Stewart is playing 33 minutes. Buckets is playing 33 minutes. Mitchell is playing 32 minutes. Miles, who's unbelievable, who's going to win Rookie of the Year, is playing 30 minutes. Caitlin Clark is playing 29 minutes. And for those that are about to push back, I'm going to give you some other numbers. When she plays 29 or more minutes, she's averaging close to 25 points a game. She's right around 24 and a half. She plays 29 or more minutes, she's going to average what? 25? 26? Wilson's averaging, as a center, mind you, 26.4. But she doesn't have to deal with inept minutes restriction. She doesn't. She's not asking to be the shooter because of her position. It's a dominant position on the floor. It is a dominant position. Now, you want to start going back with the plus and minus? I look at it like this. She has surpassed Paige. She has surpassed Mitchell. For people that were arguing Mitchell's the best player on the floor, the best player on the team, she's not. She's not. And she gets a lot of her production based off of what Caitlin Clark does as a true orchestrator of the point guard position. So you have to factor that in when you are making this argument. And less games. Endless games. And how about this? I'll do you one better. You don't think now this kid is playing with an absolute friggin' chip on her shoulder? Ever since that goofball, which we played a couple weeks ago, David Dennis from the Rat Ship talking about 11th, 12th best player guard in the league? I mean, it's unbelievable. She's been on a tear. She has been on a tear. If you look at the on-the-court impact, this team has scored almost 1,800 points. They've allowed 1,667 while she's been on the floor 739 minutes. Now, if you break that down, that's a plus 4.4 per game, which, again, it's probably not where you want it to be when you compare it to others. But she also has a total plus minus of 110 over 25 games play. So to put it in perspective, Howard with the Lynx, because they're one of the best teams, right? Miles with the Lynx, they're one of the best teams. McBride with the Lynx, they're one of the best teams. They're always going to have stout numbers. Wilson plus 215, Mitchell plus 192. But I also think that's a benefit of having Caitlin Clark on the floor. Her rating has risen because it's a dominant stretch of basketball. She posted a plus 23 last night while logging a friggin' triple-double while being fouled left and right. She also had a plus 26 on the floor against Connecticut. Now, I think, and if she doesn't have the triple-double last night and she goes off tomorrow, it would have made for a hell of a show on a Sunday. Because look at the next couple games that she has. But now you're talking about impact. They won 5 straight. They've scored 100 or more in all those wins. 90 in the fourth quarter they had. They finished with 112. And like I said, I like Mitchell. She's not Clark. She's not. So this argument, she's the best player on the floor for Indiana, it's not accurate. I don't believe that at all. I'm sorry. She's scoring right around 23. She's a volume scorer. Everyone talks about Caitlin Clark's lack of defense. Mitchell has 1 steal. She's got under 3 assists. She also plays 32 minutes. That's 3 more than Clark. The offense filters around her, whether we want to admit it or not. The coach favors her, whether you guys want to admit it or not. She gets away with a lot of ISO bad shot selection at times. She doesn't get pulled. Clark has a turnover. It's a timeout. They pull her. So we know about, again, the defensive lack thereof with a Caitlin Clark. We understand that. And sometimes the turnovers, it happens, but you got to pinpoint and go through every single solitary game. And all I'm saying this afternoon on a Saturday edition on Q, Rich Quinones here, get in early and often. All I'm saying is this. I am not saying right now on August 1st, 2026, I am not saying she is the MVP. What I am saying is that you have to now seriously, objectively, fairly, without any prejudice or bias, put her in that conversation. Okay? You have to put her in that conversation. You have to. If you don't, you're not being honest. You're not being fair. You're not being genuine. You're not being objective. Like at this point, I don't care what the rest of the media thinks. She's earning it right now. She's going to keep making it more difficult, more difficult. Get in early, often. Jeff chimes in. What's up? What's up, brother? Go Mystics, all right? We know you are a diehard Mystics fan. We know that. Maria, ¿qué tal? How are you? How are you? WNBA's Mark's chiming in. WNBA's union own the media. Some of the media is so skewed, Mark. It's unbelievable. It really is. Texas Frontier, love that handle, 25. She has better stats and less minutes. Bingo. That to me is a smoking gun. That to me is a smoking gun. Now, again, we can debate if the MVP, if the media is ever going to, quote, allow it to happen. And I don't care about the post-game nonsense last night. I don't care. This kid goes out, has a triple-double. This team's absolutely on friggin' their tear. They're on fire. We know sometimes the MVP award, we always kind of allot it to the best team. We know right now the Aces are a great team. We know Wilson averaging 26, close to 10 boards, 3 assists, 2 blocks. You talk about her efficiency. But again, I also believe this. And I'm sorry if I keep belaboring the point for those that have been tuning in. You might get a season where it's the Jordan fatigue. It's the Jordan fatigue every year, just like in baseball with Trout or Ohtani, aside from Trout being hurt, but early on in his career, you could say Mike Trout was the MVP. You know, in the heyday, Jordan's prime, every single solitary season, I don't think it was up for debate. Michael Jordan was the best player on the floor. He was the best player in the world, best player on the planet. But then you go back mid to late, 97s, 98, and the whole Malone, Jordan MVP conversation. Everyone and their mother knew that Jordan should have won the MVP. He could have won it every single solitary year that he played, really in his prime. I'm not talking the early years when he overcame some injuries. I'm not going 85, 86. We're talking prime Jordan, right? Everyone wants to be like Mike. But the media decided it's too much. It's fatigue. And I believe they kind of gave Karl Malone the bunny. It's like years ago, for those that tune in religiously or have listened to me for years, I am a huge movie buff. My guy's Paul Newman. I mean, I got a lot of them, but I love Paul Newman. I still believe to this day, Paul Newman should have won the Oscar for Fast Eddie Felton and Hustler. They didn't give it to him. The Academy, they spurned him. But they made it up back in what, 86, 87 for The Color of Money, which was a great movie, kind of like a spinoff of The Hustler. But Newman, Fast Eddie Felton, should have won it first time around. They made up for it. They made up for it. And I'm just kind of wondering, you know, the Jordan fatigue, let's give it to Malone, let's make up for it. And I'm also wondering if the media looks at it and says, you know what, let's give it to somebody else who's worthy this season. Look, Wilson has been the best player we can debate in the league. She's leading the league in scoring by 2 to 3 plus points. But she is also a center, so you know the numbers are going to be there as a rebounder. She's also a very good defender. She's a very good rim protector. So I don't know what kind of criteria you guys might use. I posted it out, and I want to hear from you guys. That's why we do the show. I want to hear from you guys. Do you look at Clark right now after that triple-double as a legit MVP candidate? And I say yes, I do. Mark chimed in. Oh, Dayton, Ohio. How about that? You know, I had someone yesterday, Mark, who was listening in from, I think, Stuberville. And then I had to give a shout out because I had a cup of coffee. Now, if you're in Dayton, Mark, I have to know this. We're going to get to your rest of your comments. I have to know. I had a cup of coffee in Dayton, a little town called Kettering, doing radio for News Talk 1290 WHIO. I couldn't tell you exactly where it was. I think it was downtown Kettering. But there was a great place called Cold Beer and Cheeseburgers. And I'm wondering if you're still tuning in right now. Lock in. Let me know if you know where I'm talking about, if you've ever been to that spot, and if it's still open. I have to know. I got to know. I have to know. Yeah, a little cup of coffee in Dayton. It snowed in September. Was not a fan of that, brother. Ever since she was voted the 11th best guard and a little letter to the league by Congress, it flipped. Games being called, there are definitely a different look in her eyes when playing. Texas chimes in. That's a great pull. That is a great pull. Do you bet? MVP, CC. All right. Jeff. All right, here we go, Jeff. I thought at first, yes, CC stat padding, but she earned her triple D. Her teammates dropped the ball a lot. That's another thing I pulled out. And I have a number 2 to back it up on the assist too, which I think's just beyond. We cannot gloss over that because she is a legit true point guard in this league. Period. The sub pattern for CC and KM much better the past 5 games. I think Texas, to your point, I think they're realizing this is what works offensively. They want to get out and run. You know what? That's a very good question. That's a very good question because Pete was throwing yesterday, and then when we did a little rapid fire last night, I don't know. We know Pete's not a CC fan. We have to become better on defense. We'll win the championship. I think this team right now is going to be a scary out. I honestly believe it in my heart of hearts. Now, they have to. They got to clean up the perimeter defense a little bit, especially this weekend is a huge test. This is why you love hoops and basketball. I don't care what league you follow, what team you love, what team you follow. Think about this for a moment. This team is 19-10. They're scoring in bunches. I mean, they put up 110 against Seattle, which is, I know it's a young team, but they're not as bad defensively as people think. They put up 108 against New York, 123, right, against Connecticut, 105 against Seattle, Portland, 112. Again, a team that's trying to learn how to win, right, young team. Talking about 105, 112 back-to-back on the road. This is where the rubber's going to meet the road. It's going to be tomorrow, mañana, and it's going to be Thursday. If she goes out and scores 30-plus tomorrow on the friggin' road and then turns around at home, oh, by the way, ABC Prime, ABC, ESPN, IN, ABC, Disney, ESPN, they know. I mean, they filter this. They knew ahead of time. But the bottom line is this. The eyeballs, the draw, the ratings. Here we go. Let's tighten up. And I checked the odds. They still haven't tightened up the odds, which is crazy. At plus 11 and plus 1,200, I took a flyer at plus 1,600 a week plus ago. So if she goes out and drops 30, back-to-back 30 plus, 30 and 10 tomorrow and on Thursday, And oh, by the way, she's playing against the top 2 that people believe should be in the MVP conversation. I'm telling you, the media's never going to allow it to happen. They're not, but I don't really care at this point. I don't, because what is she? She is now showing she's the baddest woman in the league, the baddest woman on the planet. The way she is playing, the way she's seeing the floor. I mean, the shots are ridiculous, and she's still getting fouled, and they're not calling it. Defense good enough, play so fast, the other teams just naturally get more possessions per game. That's what happens when you go up and down the floor. That's a great point. But again, they're a team that has also a damn good bench, and they have role players, and they have good balanced scoring. That's the other thing. They have balanced scoring, and they can rely on players coming off the bench and knocking down shots right away, which what? Instills confidence in them. And you always look for that, big time, right? You always look for that. The people that think Mitchell, the best player on the Fever, have an agenda. Basketball is more than just scoring. Cece can score, but she can also get her teammates involved. She's a very good, you know what? I think she's an underrated rebounder. She finds her spot, 100%. One thing for Cece to do is work on her defense and turnovers. Mitchell's a worse defender than Clark, but nobody talks about it. Brought it up multiple times. And sometimes she gets disengaged and does not get back on defense. And I'm a Mitchell fan. But she is not, the 23 a game and 1 steal under 3 assists, and you're talking about backcourt mates. She is a shooting guard. Clark is a guard, a true point guard in the sense where not only can she put it on the floor, create her shot from different angles, but she's constantly getting double teamed. She is constantly getting double teamed. Mike chimes in from Fort River and he says, Q, you failed to mention the turnovers. I mentioned them. I totally mentioned them. Look, Paige has 13 turnovers in her last 5 games. She scored 23 last night. They lost. They lost 3 straight after a 7-game winning streak. Clark has 26 turnovers in 5 games. 1 game, she had 7, and that was against New York in a 20-point win. And that was after she scored 45 points. I'm not giving her a pass, but I watch enough to know sometimes some of these players, some of her teammates, don't even see the ball coming to her. They don't. They don't even see the ball coming to them sometimes without their head up. And sometimes they're careless. But then you see a couple of these gorgeous dimes. That's where Mitchell benefits the most. When Clark starts pulling out defenders and she puts it on the floor and Mitchell cuts, it's gorgeous. And I thought last night, even Portland had some really beautiful, brilliant pick and rolls, 2-man game, backdoor cuts. That was good basketball last night. But the best player on the floor, and who has been over the last several weeks, has been Clark. Has been Clark. Monica, how are you? How are you? Texas is saying it. There you go. He's in. He's in. Say it, say it, say it. We are witnessing greatness, and I'm here for it. Yeah, that's why I don't care about any of the post-game crap. I don't care about any of that nonsense. No. The game, the talent, the level, the taking it another notch. Period. Period. Take it up another notch. The teams and the refs are carrying the water for anyone but CC. They'll let certain other players throw bricks all night, so as long as they might knock CC off the top of the stats. Yeah, I saw Angel Reese had another double-double. I saw Angel had another double-double. But, I don't, sometimes we call it like a clean knockdown in the fight game, right? We kind of call it a clean double-double. And by the way, PA Daddy, that's a great point. And you know why I bring it up? Because I want you guys, to your point, again, tell me. So 2 things. You can tell the announcer doesn't even give a crap that she had the triple. I mean, listen to the excitement right here. And I'm not saying go out of your way, but come on.
Inside, could it be a triple-double? Yes, it is. The triple-double for Caitlin Clark. Inside, could it be a triple-double? Yes, it is. The triple-double for Caitlin Clark.
It probably had to pain him. It had to pain him. It had to pain him that they put up that freaking graphic and then she has that 3. Oh, by the way, she was freaking fouled. But to PA Daddy's point, I do want you to see this. And this shows you. It shows you how they blatantly, it speaks to yesterday's show, which went off the hinges, by the way. Yesterday's show, when we were talking about the refereeing and rigged and in cahoots, I mean, I don't even know what the hell happened towards the end of the chat. It was like friggin' the Wild Wild West. I loved it. We had 700 and something comments, but it went off the rails. But again, yesterday is another perfect example. It's a perfect example, again, of not giving her the benefit of these calls. And in spite of that, she still goes out and she plays her game. Come on, man. You think these other players are getting hacked like she is on a daily basis, on a nightly basis? Not at all. Absolutely not at all. It's not even remotely close. It's not even friggin' remotely comparable. Wilson's not getting hacked like this. Bucket's not getting hacked like this. Mitchell's not getting hacked like this. Stewart's not getting hacked like this. Oh, they're treating Miles like the golden goose because she's a rook. Come on, let's speak the truth a little bit on a Saturday. In spite of the incompetence of this league, in spite of the narrow-minded, agenda-driven, pacifist activists, they're not media, in spite of this head coach that still is in love with Mitchell. Still in love. Mitchell can have 20-something shots in 5 minutes, not a problem. Clark has 6, and one of them's contested, or she has a brick or a turnover, timeout, she's off the floor. You can't make this up. But she's doing it in spite of that. In spite of that. That's what makes this just fun to watch. Like, it's just incredible. You have to appreciate it. Even if you are a Clark hater, which I don't know why you wouldn't like this kid. If it's any player on a run like this, can we just enjoy it and acknowledge it? But this player has been basically hamstrung. This player has been pushed down. And I want to PA Daddy's point, when you talk about how the referees are beyond corrupt in this league, there's no other way to say it. They got to be on the take. They have to. They have to be on the take. They have to be beyond corrupt to allow this crap. And I looped it so you guys can see for yourself. How is that a flagrant 2? She got, I mean, the hand came right down. It's like we saw when she went to the lane a couple weeks ago and the hand came across her face. And the broadcasters don't even acknowledge it, nor do they want to. They don't. I think CC will have to put 30 and 10 every game to win against all these agendas and media narrative against her. I couldn't agree more with you. And the thing is, the perception, right? Because we know once we fall in love, right, we want to maintain that relationship. And Miles, I think, is a phenomenal player. I even said you got to give her a little love within the MVP conversation. She'll be Rookie of the Year. Wilson, I can have and sit there and we talk about Defensive Player of the Year, right? But I do believe it's getting to the point right now where, as you guys mentioned, and if you believe she's legit, I want to hear and tell me what you think needs to happen. I think we're on agreement. 30 and 10 the rest of the way. She has to tomorrow have a 25 and 13 type of game, a 32 and 10 type of game with 2 or 3 turnovers, maybe making a couple of big buckets late. Then she's got to back it up Thursday and probably score 30 something. And they have to keep winning. That's the other thing. It's because now when you open up this conversation, then also the critics are entitled to push back and say, well, wait a second. You're going to get on page 23. Oh, by the way, didn't want to take the last shot the other day after they had the little side bet with Angel Reese. Thank you. But they've lost 3 straight after a 7-game losing streak. Look, players hit walls. Wilson eventually will hit a wall. Miles is still a rookie. She's going to hit a little bit of a wall. Can Caitlin Clark take advantage of it? And here's the other, the flip side of this coin. Perhaps the minutes restriction might be a blessing. Hear me out. Keep her fresh. Now, I pulled it up for those that are disputing me. I will read them off to the new commenters because this is where I make my case for her. Definitely genuine MVP candidate. Nobody greater than Jesus. CC has to play. Guessing the links because they already think Miles better than her, even though nobody defends Olivia. I was wondering why, even when she goes off, never the double team. That's an excellent point. Look, Wilson, because of her position, Stewart, they demand double teams at times, but I see triple, double, triple with Caitlin Clark. I really do. Texas Frontier, other players in the NBA won when Jordan was winning championships. Agreed. Yeah, it's like fatigue. Cool Hand Luke. I mean, are you kidding me? That's a classic, right? What we have here is a failure to communicate. That's anything. Listen, don't get me started, Texas. Anything with Paul Newman. The Sting, Butch Cassidy, Sundance. All right, we can keep going. Cooking like chicken. You barbecuing it? You marinating? Putting a little beer on it? What are we doing with that chicken? We're just letting it sit out there, just fester. Cece throws and throws to Boston. Boston throws. Kelsey. Cece told to pass Kelsey. Kelsey gets the ball. Dribble, dribble, dribble. Not much pass. No. ISO. Listen, it's ISO. It is. And I like Mitchell. I think she's a very good player. But I also feared because both of them are running around 20 plus, you start to pull, as we like to say, you pull the votes a little bit. But I believe right now she is hands down a legit MVP candidate. She is legit MVP candidate. And the reason, if you're just tuning in, we'll reset it. Saturday edition on Q, 12:30 East Coast. Rich Quinones is here. Get in early, often. Let me know where you're commenting from. We got the sub chat going. We've got the shout outs as well. Also, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. She's been on fire. This is a team. She's the catalyst behind that offense. They won their, fifth straight 13th 100-point game of the season. That's a WNBA record. She's orchestrating everything with this offense. They want to now get out and they want to push. They want to push. They want to run, which sometimes you're going to get some turnovers. She's playing at a very high basketball IQ level, and she's getting her teammates involved. Now, if we want to take a deeper dive into those numbers, the reason I think she has a legit case is because she's doing this in less minutes than the other players I mentioned. Wilson plays 31 plus minutes. Stewart plays 33. Buckets plays 33. Mitchell plays 32. A rookie's playing 30 plus. Caitlin Clark averages 29 minutes. And in some of those games, you can argue she had an opportunity to pad her stats. You can also argue she could have had multiple double-doubles, multiple triple-doubles. When she plays 29 or more minutes, condensed 29 or more minutes, you got to go out there. She's averaging close to 25 a game. She's at 24.5 when she plays 29 or more minutes. So think about that. That extra minute or two, multiple possessions, 2 or 3 minutes, even at a high water mark of 32. She can add maybe 2 to 3 more points to her total. Another dish, another rebound. Wilson plays a center position, both ends of the floor, the rim protector. Mind you, yes, so she's going to be right around 25, 26. But she also doesn't have to deal with minutes restrictions. She just doesn't. And the other thing is the assist. Caitlin Clark has 7 games with 10 assists or more, 4 games with 9, 2 with 8. The most assists Mitchell has had in a game this season was 8. Oh, by the way, she scored 29 in that game. That was a 98-89 win over the Mercury in early July. Oh, by the way, let me double back. Caitlin Clark didn't play in that game due to rest. She's played 4 more games than Clark this season. So how the hell can you stick her on the graphic during the broadcast and not have Caitlin Clark? That's the reason she's never going to win the MVP. Because the league, the media, the networks won't allow it. The same league, media, networks that are giving her content, eyeballs, and ratings every single solitary day when she's out on the floor. The whole league is corrupt from top to bottom. They really are. They really are. She can go and average a triple-double for the rest of the season. She can drop 50 and 20 dimes, and some jackass is going to sit there and put those other 4 to 5 that I mentioned and gloss over 22. It's criminal. It's criminal. It really is. Jordan could not excel until Larry Legend got out of his way. I would say, he scored 63 in the playoff game, right? In 86. I was a big Bird guy, by the way. Bird was fantastic, man. Killing the Knicks all the time. This is the most focused I've seen her in a while. Good for her. I think she's pissed. That ticking time bomb we talked about. And now she's the type of player, she's using that energy, okay? She is fueling that fire to shut a lot of people up. When you have enough people that basically want to piss on you left and right, you wake up and you say, enough is enough, man. I'm not dealing with this crap anymore. I'm taking over. She's a bad mamma jamma. She is. She's absolutely locked in. Churchill, Tennessee. All right, I like that. All right, Dave, appreciate that, brother. Blank, 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 the media, Pam says. Always good to hear from you. Definitely a huge game tomorrow. I think it could be. I agree. I think that it could be that high water mark. Correct. Correct. I think it could be that high water mark where national window, spotlight, here you go. And I'm glad they played last night, to be honest, because again, you got to travel, you rest up. That's a 1 o'clock tip off, right? So, it's a good spot. I would have preferred that 3:30, that window. That's the way I look at it. But again, here's another, conversation. It works out perfectly tomorrow night. You want to know why? Or tomorrow? Because there really aren't too many other marquee games aside from the Tempo and the Valkyries, right? And the Valkyries are a great team right now, 19-9. And I know, I got a couple guys saying, well, hold on a second. No disrespect to Gabby Williams, but there's balanced scoring on that team. So no, she's not in the MVP conversation. They're 19-9. Minnesota Aces, they're the top two teams. And oh, by the way, here comes the Fever. So you don't really have to worry about, again, if you're sitting there saying, is the spotlight going to be off of her? No, it's not. It's going to be on her tomorrow. It's actually going to be on both those teams respectively, because now you get a chance. If you haven't watched this rookie play, she's phenomenal. And you guys also brought up a great point when we talked about Collier coming back. Because if you notice, her minutes now 20 plus, they're easing her in, but that's also going to, I think, perhaps hurt Miles's stats a little bit, because now you're going to get her more in the flow of the offense, right? But no, I want it to be fair. I do. I want it to be fair, and I can't force the media to, push for a player, but you have to be genuine and you have to try to be objective. And like you guys have said, I think the issue is going to be this. They're not going to allow her to win the MVP award. I feel they're not. I feel like they will do everything in their power, right? Is like, come on, everything in their power. And again, I want to get to all these comments. Don't mind the turnovers. I love her vision and her passing her elite like a quarterback, passing people open. Look, I know where the argument and the pushback is going to come from, but you can't compare a guard against a center when you're talking about defensive efficiency. You can't. You just can't. Marcus, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you, man. I'm just going to agree to disagree on that. The turnovers, yes, you don't like the turnovers. I laid it out for you. She can be a defensive liability. I laid it out for you. I laid it out for you. But I also believe at the end of the game, do you want the ball in her hands? Out of every player in the league, late in a game, if you need a three, if you need someone to create off the dribble, and you know they're going to command that double team, and then unselfishly fire it off, find the right person, don't you want the ball in Caitlin Clark's hands? Look, Reese is, she's a double-double machine. I wish KK would have dunked it. The announcer didn't even know it was not her first. Correct. Regular season this year, yes, but come on. Keep the discourse. Basketball, the drama is too much. My eyes tell me all I need to know. Dog's even getting fired up today right now. WHIO, Great Talk Radio and Kettering. There you go. Cold beer and cheeseburgers. Sorry, Mark, I got a lot of chats coming in there. Yeah, that was the old stomping ground. I had to go in there and used to watch the Giants before I worked the night shift at WHIO. News Talk 1290, yeah. I think there was a hurricane or tornado in the town of Xenia when I was on the air, and they wanted a sports guy to break down a friggin' weather, and I couldn't do that. The announcers on Ion were horrible for the most part. Bring in Dickie V to... He's going to be the biggest cheerleader. Caitlin Clark needs to win a championship before us announcing her as an all-time great. She's already an all-time great. Stop. She's already a... Hold on a second. We can't sit there and then put these other players like a rookie who's only had a cup of coffee in the league and anoint them the next coming. They invented the game of basketball. This kid is breaking records left and right, and we just want to ignore it? She's the fastest player in league history at 1,500 points, 500 assists in 78 games. The previous record was 97. The numbers back it up. When they play, I'm telling you, the next two games right now, Because if she struggles, the haters are going to come out, and rightfully so. But if she goes off for 40 and they win again, that's 7 straight. You just beat the top 2 teams in the league. You outplayed the top 2 main MVP candidates, including one where you would label as a rookie. Golden State's the 3rd best team, but they're balanced, so we're not really talking about them right now. The Lynx are red hot. We get it. You knock them off their perch tomorrow. You shut down the kid, and you put up 30 and 12. How do you not look at that and say that's MVP worthy? Look, I'm just throwing you numbers, and I'm backing up the numbers from an analytical standpoint. That's all. That's all I'm saying. She is a true, legit point guard. She wants to get her teammates involved in the offense first and foremost. And when there's no flashing, there's no motion, she creates space. She draws out the defenders. So even when she's dishing it, and how many wide open buckets have they missed off some of these bunnies and assist from Caitlin Clark? Look, there's always going to be pushback. I see guys saying, Q, what about our defensive line? Yeah, it comes with the territory. It comes with the territory. But I got news for you. There have been some all-time greats that were really great, A, B, C, and maybe lacked a little in X, Y, and then they worked on it. She's not a lockdown defender. We saw it against the Seattle game. The backcourt abused her. They took advantage of it. But again, you have to look at the body of work. That's all I'm saying. You have to look at the body of work with the player. And you might sit there and say, I don't like her on defense. They take advantage. They pulled her last night, and then they brought her back in. That's going to be the MO. It's like, you got a bad foul shooter, you're going to foul, right? The hack-a-mitch, the hack-a-shot. But the offense and the coach is starting to figure it out. When you give her the green light and let her do what she does best, this is what you get. And they get out and they run. They run. So you better be a damn well good shooting 3-point team, right? Because they get out on that fast break off those long rebounds and they push and they push. So all of a sudden, miss off 3, quick 2, miss 3, +4, we're off and running. They go on runs. She's the catalyst behind it. She's the catalyst behind it. Triple-double is a triple-double. Doing this in a condensed game, 29 minutes when everyone else is at +4, they have more opportunities, more touches, more possessions. You can live with a turnover. You can live with a little defensive liability. You can. You can. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. She's being pushed down because she plays in a league. Come on, I wouldn't go that far. She's straight. Sad to say race is also an issue. I know what you're saying. I get it. Is there an element to that? I mean, I don't want to go there. We've done enough on that. I appreciate it, by the way, the comment. Is there an element that she doesn't fit the league narrative and maybe that's why she'll never win the award? But I think I've laid it out fairly to you guys and objectively. If they look at Wilson and say, yeah, she can win it every single year, look at the impact. But what is the impact with Clark on the team if you take her off the floor? Can Mitchell do what Caitlin Clark does? She can't. She can't. She's not a distributor. And she certainly can't shoot and create like Caitlin Clark is. Mitchell is a good player. She's a good player. But sometimes Batman needs Robin, Robin needs Batman. And if they can mesh and work together and win a championship, that's all anybody wants. And by the way, that cements her legacy. That cements Caitlin Clark's legacy. If they go on a run and they win a championship, then what? Because truth serum, that's what she wants. She doesn't care about stats. She doesn't care about an MVP award. I look at some of these players in the league, and I look at a lot of ISO ball. I think Mitchell is a gunner. She's a volume shooter. And when her shot doesn't fall, she forces it at times. But I can also go back and sit there and say, how many times should there have been N1 with Caitlin Clark? I'm just trying to be balanced and fair here, man. All I'm saying is that I believe she definitely needs to be in the MVP conversation. Last night was a great performance. And if she backs it up, she continues to play like this, you can't deny her a seat at the table. You can't deny her a seat at the table. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I think I've done a good job of backing it up. Margaret, how are you? Glad that CC managing to play her game, show how good she can be. Playing at 60% of her future capacity. Think about the efficiency from the floor, too. I mean, her efficiency's on another level. Because she's a rookie, CC was getting hacked and beat up. They say, well, she's a rook, got to pay your dues, but Miles is a new superhero. Agenda much. She's a great player. She's a phenomenal rookie. But rookies hit walls. No, I'm going to give this kid, I'm going to give this kid some flowers. I'm going to give her juice. She's a good player. But the league is agenda driven. And we'll know how corrupt this league is and how biased and prejudiced they are. If Wilson stumbles a little bit, her numbers go down. You know, Caitlin Clark, I'm sorry, is better than Paige Buckets. She's better than Paige. Paige, you had an opportunity, last shot, you pass it up the other night. But, you know, again, sometimes if you're a little more vocal, pardon me, the spotlight's on you and you get some more shine and flowers. I thought it was a travesty. I mean, again, you guys explained this to me. This was last night. I just want you, tell me what's wrong with this. This was last night. Oh, by the way, as soon as they wiped away, they dissolved from this image, that's when she hit the 3. And she should have been fouled.
For this season. All of them are worthy. Right now, I mean, look at Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, her numbers as well as going for a doctorate. At the same time, yeah, she's been getting busy, but every player on here is worthy of it. A'ja Wilson is just a monster in terms of her consistency at Paige Beckers, but Olivia Miles, the spectacle, the show.
Listen, I don't care about a doctorate. That's great. I'm watching a player, you know, with a master's degree in triple doubles. CC has a few sloppy turnovers. Many could be avoided by our teammates. Same with assist. How many missed layups? Michael, I've been saying it, but people don't want to hear it. Caitlin Clark's three-point percentage is 35% for the season. Her career marks stand at roughly 33 overall across her time in the league. Yeah, but follow me. Follow me for a second. When we talk about three-point shooting, every time she shoots, her shots are contested. That's why she's learned at a very early age to have a very quick release. She wants to get rid of the basketball. She wants to get her shot up and off. There's no player in the league that shoots from different angles like she does. There's no player we've seen in a long time that shoots like she does. Anywhere on the floor, she can knock it down. That is a rarity. That is a gift. Like, you have to put in a lot of time. And when you start to now see she's knocking it down all over the place, the defense has to say, we got to start pulling out. Perimeter defense. Now it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Tell me another player that can explode and put it on the floor like she can. And oh, by the way, when you get the weak side help, she's got the court vision. She's got the basketball acumen and IQ. That's when you get those cutters. That's when Mitchell and this offense is at their best. When you pull her out and she penetrates and Mitchell slashes and cuts, that's when Mitchell gets her buckets. Or kick it, swing it, boom, knock down to 3. Get Boston involved, get Cunningham involved, you know, yada, 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 Billings. You know, it's just everything starts with the point guard position. They are the catalyst. They are. They're the maestro on the floor, man. You got to have the court vision. She has it. She's seeing the play unfold 2-3 moments prior to. 2-3 moments. She's looking around. She's already reading the room. She knows what she wants to do as soon as she gets that ball and she goes head up. Yes, she's a defensive liability at times. Yes, she has some bad turnovers. But you know what? I'll take that when she's dropping 11, 12, 13 points. Now, you want to sit there and argue, hold on a second, Rich. You know, some of these games you talked about, 6 turnovers, 4 assists. Yeah, that's a bad ratio. Now, she makes up for it with a dagger 3 or going on a little 6-0 spurt of her own or back-to-back buckets. I mean, the Seattle game, Mitchell misses late. She gets the strip. She hits the 3. Good night. You have to put it, you know, I would say we can put it under a microscope, but I also think you have to give it the bird's eye view. You have to take a step back. Wilson is probably most likely 95% going to win it because of how they look at the center position. It's a dominant position, but this player has won it year after year after year. Is it fatigue? It's hard to give a rookie an MVP because you're going to win the Rookie of the Year, and you really have to do something special. Then you got a second-year player in buckets. I don't think she has the same skill set as Caitlin Clark. Then you have Mitchell. Caitlin Clark is hands down better than Mitchell. It doesn't mean Mitchell is a bad player. Then you have Stewart. Now, is Stewart a player where you sit there and say, well, look, that team's starting to heat up a little bit. We're talking about a big-time player, the forward position, 6'4". She can take over games. She's a double-double machine. She's a double-double machine. She had 26 and 11, but they lost that game on the road. So I'm putting everything I'm saying, I'm trying to be very fair and objective. I'm giving you the pros and the cons. The pros and the cons. And for those just tuning in, I also mentioned that Caitlin Clark doesn't play as many minutes as these other players. And that's something you have to take in consideration. If she's playing 30 plus, her numbers are going to go up exponentially. And in this case, because the odds, these players, we can argue, are so close, the difference from jumping from 21 to 23 points? Huge. It really is. How do you make bets openly as players in the game you're playing and not get suspended? Man, covered it up. Should CC get a vote on MVP? Sure, I'll give you that, but winning it is nowhere near her. Beating on bottom teams doesn't move the boat. But you can't fault who's on the schedule, right? Like, to me, I kind of think that's not a fair argument, and I'm going to tell you why. When you looked at... Let me, all right, follow me for a second. And I'm not changing the subject, but just follow me for a second. When you look at New England last year, what was the argument with the Patriots? Well, look who they played on their schedule. They beat Carolina, the Saints, Tennessee, Cleveland, Atlanta, Tampa, the Jets, the Giants, Cincinnati with a bad defense, no Burrow, right? They also beat the Bills. That was a signature win. They beat Miami. Who the hell did they beat? So even though they played crappy teams, is that Drake May's fault? Who, oh, by the way, people would have argued was the MVP, but we know how the voting came out, even though Stafford was ridiculous. You can't fault a player for who's on the schedule. Now, same respect, what happens tomorrow if she turns around and she has 30 and 10 on a Sunday against a top team and an MVP candidate, and then she does it again on Thursday night against the Aces and has 35 and 10? Then what's the argument? I think it's a fine line we walk when we start to sit here and say beating up, because every team plays the same teams, right? It's just how you circle them about. It's just how they're scheduled out. That's all I'm saying. If she's playing 30 plus minutes, I think her numbers are going up exponentially. I do. CC was not allowed to MVP conversation as a rook. Miles can have Rookie of the Year just like 22. Good point. Salute, brother. MVP. Caitlin, a surgeon. Live wire, brother. Mr. Marty, you know it. They don't want to hear it. Haven't been watching Olivia Miles, but they say she's great. She's a hell of a player. She's a great player. She's a phenomenal rookie. She's an impact player. She's making her imprint and her mark on the league. I love when people say this league is a joke, but when you are sitting here debating and it's constant engagement every single day, it tells you there's talent in this league. It's poorly run. I believe it's already stacked up against her because she doesn't fit the narrative. She just doesn't. She doesn't fit the narrative. She's white. She's straight. She's a straight white girl. I'm sorry. That's the bottom line. It might offend people, but that's the God's honest truth. She's a great player. And again, I don't care if she's yellow gay. I don't care if she's black and straight, white and gay. I don't care. She can friggin' ball. If we're going to talk about the merits of what she's doing on the floor, but the league won't allow that. The league wants a certain fit. They want a certain build. They want a certain model. She's not fitting it. She's not. These writers will go out of their way. These broadcasters are honestly pathetic. They are. They're pathetic. Somebody said, how would you act if you're calling these games? You call games in the States and overseas. I would be very fair. And I would literally, if a graphic like that is thrown out, I'd be like, well, hold on a second. How about number 22? I'd call him out. Consequences be damned. Everyone else can have a friggin' opinion. I can't. They go out of their way to ignore the fact she's on the floor. It's almost as though it's like a kid. You think you're going to get punished and you say a curse word. You say like Caitlin Clark or number 22 or CC. I mean, it's like, oh my God, you're going to get grounded. Go to your room without supper. So she's got that going against her. She's got she doesn't fit the WNBA narrative. She's on that side of the velvet rope going against her. She's got the referees in the back pocket of the league going against her. She's got the physicality of these players knocking her on her ass. That's going against her. She's got a head coach that manipulates her stats and her minutes. That's going against her. But nobody wants to add that into the equation. Like, sit down in a room like they do in the Hall of Fame, and it gets very heated and passionate because everyone's stating their case. I would love to sit there and get 10 writers who don't even acknowledge she's an MVP candidate, who don't even acknowledge if she continues this pace and they keep winning and she outperforms those that are classified above her, better than her. I would love to sit there and go back and forth with them and state the case. Because like I told you, the smoking gun to me, forget about the defensive liability, forget about some of the turnovers. The smoking gun to me is, look how she's doing this, not playing as many minutes. Because of the coach. The DNP, the back, the minutes restriction, the nonsense all the time. Bud chimes in. She's got to play twice as good as everyone else to be considered. I think the narrative, okay. Oh, come on. She's a great shooter. That's just, now you're just, Marcus, you're hating, brother. Come on. Team record also matters, and right now, Aja and Olivia are the top candidates right now. She's Rookie of the Year, but I'm not putting her past Caitlin Clark. I'm not. And you watch. Kyer comes back. Her minutes might drop. If you want to argue with me, Wilson, I get it. She's a dominant player. But centers usually are. And centers usually play both ends of the floor. They have to. They got to rebound. They got to be a rim protector. And my fanny's going to be down on the low block. But no one's sitting there saying, Wilson, put the ball on the floor and dribble around everyone. Push it up. Set the offense. No one. She's not going to do that. You want to give her, again, the Defensive Player of the Year? Go ahead, man. She's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. She's a Hall of Famer. She is a outstanding, brilliant, friggin' player. She is. She's an unbelievable player. But maybe, and just follow me for a moment, maybe there is this case of fatigue. That's all. That's all I'm saying. And the example I used was Jordan and Malone. I know it's apples and oranges, but maybe it's a little bit of fatigue. That's all. That's all. Look, rookies are great. You know, this kid she's playing really, really well, but rookies hit the wall. Okay? And a lot of you guys still haven't answered my question. Game on the line, who do you want to have the rock? I mean, I'm going with 22. I'm going with 22. I'll live and die with my boots on, man. I'll give her the opportunity. That's, again, my opinion, man. My opinion. And the other thing that hasn't been brought up is, you know, I don't believe White is a really good head coach. I don't. I don't believe she has a feel for the game. I understand her resume, her track record. I think there's a little bit of favoritism. I don't like how, I just don't like her adjustments at times. I don't. And I think, I'm not going to suggest that she does it to spite a player, but I can sit there and go through a lot of these games and question her coaching. So when you talk about some of these other teams, you know, they're playing good basketball because they're a good team, they're well balanced, and they're well coached. I mean, seriously. And I don't care about the stuff off the floor at this point with the drama and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just, again, it's just an added distraction the team doesn't need. I mean, it just gets exhausting talking about all this stuff because of Cunningham's comments. And of course, they're going to keep shutting it down. You know it, and I know it. But I've seen this coach make mistakes. Seriously. And I think now she's starting to kind of understand that, hey, let me take advantage. of replay challenges. Forget about the player minutes management. Let me just go and kind of have these players play. But at times, I think she overplays guards. I do. I really do. And I think sometimes she has the worst substitutions. Like, I call them on the air momentum killers. Momentum killers. Like, as a Giant fan back in the day with Eli and Kevin Gilbride, offensive coordinator, kill a drive. So sometimes I don't think there's any rhythm or rhyme. And I also believe that can hold back a player. That, again, that's just me. My comment, my opinion. You guys might disagree. Angel chimes in, echoing my thoughts, not to mention Miles is the best coach in the NBA. CC has a coach that works against her for the most part. I think we can all agree. And it hurts her stats. It hurts her stats. Love KM. She's a shooting guard and finishes the rim as well. Not better than CC, but a great player. She's a great player, but she's definitely not Clark. She's not. And I just think, I don't know what more you would want a player like this to do. Like, if Wilson has a triple, if Buckets has a triple-double, if Reese has a triple-double, you guys are waxing today, man. Seriously, you are. I don't ask for much. Just be transparent. Be honest. Like, what is it about her game? You're going to overlook her great offensive acumen, her shooting and scoring ability. I mean, do you really watch her play, or do you just look at highlights? And I'm saying it with respect. If you watch her play and break down defenders, it's on another level. How quick her first step. She doesn't even need to jab. She gets it in. She knows exactly where she's going. You give her a sliver of daylight down the lane, and what does she do? Mitchell uses her brute strength, her body. She's a strong kid. She can challenge. Mitchell attacks the rim. Clark can maneuver, attack the rim, but guess what? As soon as she pulls that weak side defender, she's dishing it off. Instead of just trying to force the issue. Mitchell will sometimes force the issue. It doesn't mean she's not a very good player. But I get her out of the equation right now. I get the rookie out of the equation. I get Stewart out of the equation. I get Buckets out of the equation. I think right now, over the last several weeks, it's a two-horse race. I do. You want to call me prisoner of the moment? Fine. I think it's a two-horse race. I look at the whole body of work. I look at the fact that no player is guarded as physical in this league as she is. No player is. We all played ball, man. You know when a guy is doing you on the court, what do? You start to tug a little bit. You start to, you don't want to break free. She's got to fight extra hard to get her shots. She does. And I'll live with a couple turnovers. I will. I'll live with her feeling herself, shooting 4 or 5 and then throwing one, from the ocean. I'll live with it because I know late in the game when she's on the floor, I got a great chance of winning. And you can't say that about every player we're talking about in the league. You can be great, but it doesn't mean you're clutch. You can be phenomenal, but it doesn't mean you want the ball in your hands late. Buckets had the ball in her hands the other night. What'd she do? Kick out. She could have stopped and popped near the foul line. She chose not to. The league is agenda-driven. It's agenda-driven. I came on today, topic of conversation. I believe at this point you have to consider her an MVP candidate. That's all I'm saying. She is now making it difficult to say she is not. She might not win it. She might not. She really not. But like I said, I don't know. Clark, career averaging 5 turnovers a game, that has to improve before. She's already a great player. I'm not taking anything away from any of these players. What did he call them, Clarkies? You can't speak to me on that because I watch every friggin' game. I do this for a living. I watch every game. I watch a lot of friggin' basketball. A lot of basketball. I call a lot of games. That's why I'm half exhausted. I come on earlier because I'm calling 6-7 games overseas. I watch a shit ton of basketball. I believe there are Clark fans that just love her to love her, but I believe 95% of those that tune in to my show know the game of basketball and they follow religiously, and they're very astute and they're very educated and they're fair. They are fair. And I think the problem is people just don't like her because they don't like her, because she gets to shine. People can't separate it. That's The harsh truth is when someone's stealing the spotlight, when they don't fit the mold, when they don't fit your narrative, your criteria, you don't care what they're doing. They will never please you. And I'm not saying Jehovah Sugar, which I love the, by the way, handle. Appreciate it, brother. See, I didn't wait till dinner time to get back to you. Some people will just have it set in their ways. No matter what someone can do, they will never be good enough. I don't think this player cares about that crap. I don't think half the league cares about that. I believe some players do because they're thin-skinned. Clark wants to win. She's an assassin out there. She wants the ball late. You rely on her late. You want the ball in her hands late. Yes, you get Wilson involved. Sure, I get it. You want the ball in a rookie hands late come playoff time? That's when you see what you have. Rookies hit walls. Now you bring back Collier. Her numbers are going to dip a little bit. Clark continues to ascend. She's going to take advantage of it. Stewart, we know that. But my whole point, again, she's doing this in less minutes. How are we glossing over that? How are we glossing over that? She's doing this in less minutes. Would you change your mind if she was averaging 24 a game? Would you change your mind if her turnovers were cut down to 2 to 3 a game? Like, I don't get into this whole three-point shooting efficiency, and I'm not ignoring it, but the shots she takes, they're constantly friggin' contested. And again, here's a perfect example. For some of you guys that are pushing back, talking about when she shoots, from beyond the arc, right? These contested shots, oh, she doesn't get fouled. Okay, all right. Are you watching these games clearly? How in the world, again, glossed over last night. Glossed over last night. Tell me what you see here.
And Caitlin Clark, there's always time when you've got the range. They will take a look at it, and it is good.
At the same time, yeah, she's been getting busy, but every player on here is worthy of it. Asia Wilson is just a monster.
And then Caitlin Clark, there's always time when you've got
the spectacle.
I mean, if you watch this league, they call that every time. They call it every night. They call it every night. They don't call for her. Come on, man. You guys don't want to hear it. I get it. You don't like her. We're past it, man. And please, don't make me pull your basketball credit if you tell me that a triple-double is overrated. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it on a Saturday. I got the fresh roasted coffee. Kiki's sound asleep. It's a Saturday afternoon. Going to take a nice little run on the beach. Got to call some fights later tonight remotely on the West Coast. Come on. I don't want to pull the card today. I don't want to do it. Oh, Marcus, you made me do it. Oh. Stop. So I guess Russell Wilson's season or Oscar Robinson, averaging a triple-double is overrated. Marcus. Come on. JS, Caitlin makes difficult situations look easy. People expect the performance or why they have to keep proving, but they don't realize overall impact CC has our team to break over 100 points a game. Yeah. Here's another point that I want to bring up today. By the way, like, comment, hit the notifications, subscribe to the channel. If she's not the face of the league, why do we debate and argue her so much? If she's not the face of the league, why do people get so passionate and heated one side or another? And if she's not the face of the league, well, why do broadcasts go out of their way to ignore her? This is what happens when people are petty, they're insecure, and they're jealous. And for those that are saying, sis can be a sister, everything, man. And she's smart enough to realize this. Any great basketball player, when your shot's not friggin' falling, what do? You attack the rim. You get to the line. You get to the line. You create, you manufacture points another way. She does that. She didn't invent the game of basketball. I'm not saying that, but go back to the last hour. I started the show. All I said was this. You have to now seriously consider her an MVP candidate. You can argue semantics with me all you want about the efficiency in the three-point shooting. Don't compare it to a center whose ass is always on the low block. Don't. When push comes to shove, she hits that dagger three. There is value in that. There is value in that. Hell, Bird missed a shot in the finals against the Lakers. Even Michael Jordan missed a shot. Reggie Miller missed 2 foul shots against the Knicks. Great players, Hall of Fame players, are not perfect. No player is perfect. Michael Jordan was not a perfect player. He wasn't. Bird wasn't a perfect player. He was a sieve defensively. No one's saying she is perfect, but she is playing the game of basketball at an extremely high level, and it needs to be acknowledged. And with that acknowledgement means now you need to put her in the conversation of MVP. Just my opinion. And the fact that they threw 4 other players out there, one of her teammates that's only getting that type of love because of a pure guard who's actually creating, dishing, creating space, drawing double teams, playing unselfish, her numbers are up. And that's Mitchell. Isn't that an MVP? Isn't there value in that? I'm making everyone around me better? My God, all I hear about that in the NFL for years, covering the NFL. Well, does the quarterback elevate his, the guys around him? Well, when you watch this team right now, they're historically on one of the best offensive runs in league history. So who is the catalyst behind that? Who is getting players involved? It's Caitlin Clark. That's all. All I'm trying to say. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Trolling. Not even remotely close. Now you guys are trolling. Nobody makes passes like CC. If you're complaining about 5 turnovers, don't know what to tell you. Better stat. Percentage of points scored. She's responsible for she's leading. 100%. Marcus is just trolling today. Fever give up 100 points a game defensively. Fever defense isn't good. Mitchell isn't a facilitator. No, she's not. She decides to be ISO and put it on the floor. Their defense has gotten better, though. Defense gotten a little better, Coach. Defense gotten a little better. And the other thing is, too, if you go back, right, and if you kind of look at some of these games, we know which teams have the best defensive efficiency in the league. I think the one thing that hurts the Fever, and you guys might be taken back by this, I think it hurts the Fever that you have a Mitchell and Clark on the floor at the same time. Because part of me, Mitchell is an alpha. Like, Mitchell's an alpha. I mean, they wax over her every time she takes it to the rim. She's a strong kid. She's 5'8", but she plays like she's 6 foot at times. She's strong, but she also is a volume shooter. Like, she never met a shot she doesn't like, right? 13 of 25, 7 of 16, 7 of 18, 9 of 21. She's efficient around the rim, but I don't trust her a lot, foul line out. She'll knock it down, don't get me wrong, but where she is strong is in transition. And again, who's leading the charge? Like, it's a win-win proposition, but I also think there's more spacing on the floor when she's off the floor, because I also feel as though they try to run the offense too much. They try to force feed her the rock. And we saw that a couple games ago. You go back before they went on this little run. They were stubbing their toe a little bit in June. They lost 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5, whatever the hell it was. If you look at her numbers, 6 of 20, 5 of 19. I mean, that's nothing to write home about. She's a great player, but she is a scorer first. She wants to go right to the bucket. Clark is looking to facilitate. I'm trying to get you involved, KM. I'm trying to get you involved first. So if you take Clark on the fall off the floor, where are Mitchell's numbers? Do you not understand? It's a win-win. It's a marriage. But sometimes they butt heads, and it's not the best mesh on the floor. I watch enough of these games where Mitchell's at fire, and then it's like the first quarter, Clark's 1 of 3. She took 3 shots. Mitchell's got 9. That's all I'm saying. Again, follow me. Great player, but not like, the Are you watching me? Let me watch the Italian Stallion. Love her game, and I think she's the future. Just be objective. Watch with your eyes. Not a fan. You guys are arguing back and forth. All right. I like that. BB. CC for MVP. Mitchell for MVP. So what's the difference? They're both Indiana Fever players. It would be great if either one's. There's no difference. The crux of the argument is that Mitchell can't do what Clark does. She just can't. She just can't. Let's just call for what it is. She can't. And she's benefiting from having Clark on the fall as a primary ball handler and facilitator, getting her in the offense. If you stick another guard in the backcourt, Mitchell's not getting her numbers. She's going to have to do too much. And then, oh, by the way, it's sloppy. The offense is inept. It's not efficient. And she's going to have turnovers. The same turnovers that you criticize 22 for. Because you have a great, pure guard on the floor, it opens things up. The court vision is everything. She's got it. She's got it. But you cannot, my gripe today is how in the world are people still pushing back at the notion she's not an MVP candidate? I did not come on the air and say she is the MVP of the WNBA. I did not say that. What I said is after last night, after the run she's been on, and oh, by the way, she's got to play a big game on Sunday, a big game on Thursday. If she goes 30 of 10, 25 of 13, then guess what? She keeps jumping these players. She is a legit MVP candidate. That is basically what I've been saying. That's where I stated my case, and she's doing it in less minutes played and logged by the other 4 to 5 that I mentioned. I'm not trying to force it down your throat. I'm not saying you guys have to agree with me. All I'm doing is I'm backing up my thought. I'm backing up my opinion. That's it. Metrics and analytics show CC is not a defensive liability. Learn your attacking Mark. And Mark is trolling a little bit. Doesn't matter. All the haters will be silent. CC doing this despite what everyone is saying. I want her so bad to go out and average like 30 and 15 going forward. But it just does not matter. You guys are crushing Marcus. And sometimes I just leave it to you. Turnovers don't lead to losses, to more wins. The plus minus is it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's not. I don't always like it. I don't. Because if you look at the box score, that's one thing, right? If you look at the box score, if you watch the game, it's not the box score. And I think sometimes people, they're box score watchers. They just go on ESPN, they check out the box score, they see 6 turnovers, 9 of 23, 18 points, 2 assists, 5 turnovers late, and they think the player stinks. You really have to watch the game and the impact they have on the floor. Every player that we've talked about or debated or disputed, they're great in their own right. And again, I don't want to just beat a drum. I didn't come on the air saying she's the MVP. I came on the air saying what she's doing over the last several weeks and how she is locked in. We have to now consider her a legit candidate to win the award. I'm not saying she will. I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm not saying she won't. But now she's put herself in that conversation. And I believe she's always should have been in that conversation. But the media just didn't want it. The media, the networks, they don't want to do that. They don't. They just refuse to have, any type of positive thing to say about her. They do. Look, Mitchell, excellent. 13 consecutive game, 20 or more. It's an unbelievable streak. Second longest streak in the W history. But they're 19-10 right now. They got the best record in the Eastern Conference, the 4th best in the WNBA overall. They're going to get tested tomorrow and then Thursday. Tomorrow on the road, Thursday at home. What she's doing, do not gloss over it. That's it. Don't gloss over it. Don't dismiss it. Don't diminish it. Just take it for what it's worth. And right now, she's playing some of the best friggin' basketball of her career. She was 5 of 9 shooting, 26 points, 14 of 7 free throws, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, 4 turnovers, first triple-double of the season, and she posted twice, 2 of them as a rookie in 2024. And she had an injury short in 2025. She also became the fastest player to reach 1,500 points and 500 assists in career games with 78. She's playing at a ridiculously high level. And if you can't see it, you don't know basketball or you are a hater. There's no in between. There's no in between. You either don't know the game of basketball or you're a hater. You can hate, but God, be objective. Be objective hating. Be objecting. You're not. Marcus. I can't allow the troll, Marcus. I cannot. I will not allow it. Right now, they're averaging 91 a game defensively, and the number has come down last 8 games. Because you know why? So defensively, what I see with this team is at times, look at some of these games and how some of them have been blowouts. So sometimes you get lapses late, right? I mean, look, last night you had some defensive lapses. You had a couple of bad shot selections, but Portland was never, they weren't threatening late in that game. So you're going to get a couple lapses. You're going to get a couple turnovers. It happens, right? And they go on and they win that game by 14. But they made adjustments, did they not? Think about it, because what they were able to do coming out of the locker room, the offense hit all cylinders. They scored 34. They held them to 25. So all I'm concerned about, it's like for the guys that played football or coach or follow football, man, I don't give a crap if you give up 500 yards of offense, as long as it's 20-20, which means I'm not allowing you to punch it in. 20-20. You want to keep moving. You want to keep moving the ball up and down. Hey, as long as you're not punching in from the red zone, I'm okay with that. Like, you can live with the points they allow at times, but defensively, they do have to be a little better. They're not the best rebounding team, okay? And they need to get back on transition, and they also have to understand when to slide over and weak side help. Like, there are certain players in the league, yeah, they're going to knock down a 3 here and there, but it's not like you got to keep doubling every single solitary time. That's the wrong read. But that's coaching, to your point. That's coaching. And you're going to make adjustments. They're a playoff team. They're a legit title contender right now, and I don't believe they hit their stride. Now, Mitchell's going to have a down game. Clark's going to have a down game. And then here we go. We're going to talk about the odds shifting. Here we go. Turnover is no different than a missed shot unless it leads to an undefended basket. I always say this on the air, man. Sometimes you can live with the turnover in the front court. You can't live with it in the back court. But to your point, yeah, you still got to get back on defense, right? Period. You got to get back on defense. And as long as this team understands, great teams have to understand their roles. You have to define roles. I still think there's this little, clash of who really is the primary option A of the offense. Like, we have our opinion. Some might say it's Mitchell. Some might say it's Clark. But if you look at these other teams, you kind of know who the workhorse is. You know where the ball's going, right? I mean, if you watch these games, the Aces are a damn good team. They are. But again, if we're being objective, Gray's not a bad player. Young is a good player. But the bulk of the offense goes through who? It goes through the center. It goes through number 22. It goes through Wilson. Now, you got Collier coming back for the Lynx. Now let's see where Miles's numbers are. Is she still going to be the primary option on that team? Stretch run? You don't know. So maybe the numbers are tweaked. Maybe the numbers come down a little bit. We've seen it happen. You get a player coming off an injury, you get a player coming back, and now all of a sudden, your minutes, the numbers, the minutes, but you know what I'm saying, the shot selection, you got to realize, who am I going to get more involved? And that team has been on a friggin' tear. So if they sit there, if Indiana goes on the road tomorrow, they beat this team, and they defensively lock down, because this team is scoring too. This team can score over 100 like that, man. I mean, they scored 105, 101. 104, 100, and they can also grind it out. That's what makes them a great team. If they don't score 100 and they're right around 85, 90, they can win. They did it against Seattle, 86-74. They did it against New York, 90-85. They know how to win late in the clutch. But now you bring back another great player. Is it going to hurt the rookie when you're talking about offensive output and how the offense is run? Now you're not the primary option. So there's all these extraneous variables that all work into play. But, man, you got to appreciate what you're seeing right now, right? Here you go, Mark. Xenia has 2 tornadoes. No, it wasn't 1974. No. There was a tornado in Xenia. I think it was 2000. Marcus, I don't have a problem with your opinion. I just think your opinion is slanted towards a troll. That's all. And that's okay. All I want to know is, Marcus, I'm gonna fire off and ask you this one comment. I'm gonna ask you this one question. I'm firing off to you. I love the handle. Right now in this league, late in the game, you're down 1. Nah, you're down 2. Late in the game, you're down 2. Fourth quarter, you're down 2. Last shot, last possession. What player do you want to have the ball? And your answer will tell me everything I need to know. I know where your opinion coming from, Holmes. It's called CC is this and you are that, and you know what I mean. I know the channel you want to be on. Too bright in here for you. I don't know what we're going with that one. I don't know. Where are we going with that one? I don't know. Anyone want to fill me in on that? Your opinion coming from? Huh. Okay. I don't know. I don't know about that one. A little too deep on a Saturday. Isn't a good defender at all. Luckily, she's not there for defense. Well, they take her out, late. But listen, she's not winning the award based on defense, right? She needs to win a championship. Yeah, I still don't know what that comment meant. CC needs to win a championship in the W, then she will leave and start her own league, or CC will play in Europe and win multiple championships. I said this, how long ago? She definitely should start her own league. CCL, man. Why not? No problem. We're just educating you. I don't know, man. Pete was trolling last night. Pete was trolling yesterday. Ah, man. I still don't know what that one comment meant. I'm sorry. You're making statements based on feelings rather than stats. Based on more than feelings is because of what they hate. Oh, okay. That wasn't. I see now. Not directed. Wilson is the MVP right now. Look at the numbers. So, again, you can look at the numbers all you want. She's a dominant center. But she also plays the center position. She's going to get hers around the rim. And she's a rebounder and she's a rim protector. It's apples and oranges. It's apples and oranges. And I think it's Wilson fatigue. And I also brought this up. She is also playing more minutes than Caitlin Clark. Wilson's playing 31 minutes, 32 minutes. Stewart plays 33, Buckets 33, Mitchell 32, Miles 30. Clark plays 28 and a half, 29 minutes. When Caitlin Clark plays 29 or more minutes, she's averaging close to 26 a game, 25 a game. She's right at 24.5. So if you put her on the floor for plus 31, 32, and a couple more possessions, I got news for you. Her numbers go up. Her averages go up. She has to deal with the minutes restrictions. She's also played in fewer games. So that has hurt her, whether it's the rest of DMP or because she got hit in the throat. Her plus minus has gone up exponentially. She had a plus 23 last night on the floor. She had a plus 26 against Connecticut. Wilson is going to win it because she is a center on a very good team. And she's won it before, and people, she's a Hall of Famer. And I believe she wins it because people don't want to give it to Caitlin Clark too. Can two things be correct? Can two things be true? They just don't want to give it to her because they don't want to give it to her? But I'm just saying, I think I'm not trying to force anything on you guys, but I do believe over the last hour plus, I've stated my case and I backed it up. Just put her in the conversation. Let's roll the dice and let's see what happens. Let's see exactly what happens. Wilson is a great player. Buckets is a great player. Mitchell is a very good player. Miles is a sensational rookie. Stewart's a great player. They're all great players, period. And when you're playing the center position, all eyes are on you, especially when you add the fact she's a friggin' rim protector and a hell of a rebounder. And she's won Defensive Player of the Year. And she's won the MVP, 4 out of 5 years? It's, again, the Jordan argument. The Jordan argument, the fatigue. I'm not saying just because of that argument she doesn't deserve to win it again this year, but it really just boggles my mind how there's absolutely no odds movement at all when you're talking about the MVP. I mean, her odds are right now minus 350. There's nowhere on God's green earth where Clark should not have leapfrog over Miles. She should. 21-8, and this rookie's 18-5. And for those that sit there and say, you got to give it to a team that's the best team in the league. Well, consider this. Where would Indiana be without Caitlin Clark? Where would she be? Where would they be without Caitlin Clark? Don't you add that into the valuable when we talk MVP? I think so. Man, Marcus just going at it. I don't know where Pete is. I have no idea. I have no idea where Pete is. Crazy excuses, no facts, watch the game, not box score or YouTube stats. Yes, thank you. Watch the game. Watch the games. And you can tell. You can tell. These players are not getting beat up like she is. They're not getting doubled, friggin' triple team every time she's bringing the ball up the floor. Every time it's a handoff. Every time there's a two-man game. You ever watch when she dribbles? She's dribbling. It's like bang, bang, bang. She's like pleading for the friggin' call. They guard her. They defend her a different way. Take all that into consideration. I've stated my case. Take it all into consideration. I don't know where Pete is today. 35, 36%, but again, when is she knocking down those threes? Look, in my experience, and again, the European game is a little different, so the overseas is a little different, but the leagues that I call in the States, I can see guys that maybe league averages, lower level leagues, maybe around 33%, and you might get that 34 to 35, but if I'm knocking them down late when I'm trailing, and then that's go ahead bucket, and I knock down a couple more, and that's the lead for good. To me, don't just throw out percentages. Watch every game, right? Even the great quarterbacks make mistakes. The great quarterbacks can have a game where they have 2 god-awful interceptions and a lost fumble. But the great ones always rise to the challenge late. And what do? Down 6, under 2 to go, 1 timeout, they go 85 yards, and they stick it in the back of the end zone. The haters, the negative Nellies out there will say, well, but what did he do late? What did he do when it mattered the most? So when teams are blowing out teams, like some of these teams are, you get what? Inflated stats. You get inflated stats. You and I both know it. But she's making plays when they need plays. There's value in that. MVP, most valuable player. Your team needs you. Where's the value? Here we go. Dagger 3. Make the defensive stop against Seattle, which no one's talking about. And when you get her cooking, you can't stop her. Nobody in the league is defended like Caitlin Clark. Stop looking at highlights, other shows, talking heads. Don't even listen to me on this. Watch the game yourself. Watch it. And if she turns around and struggles tomorrow and they lose, then we have that conversation. It doesn't mean she's out of the MVP conversation. It doesn't mean I told you so, Q. It doesn't mean she stinks. If Clark has 18 and 9 assists and 6 rebounds and hits a 3 to win it tomorrow, and Mitchell has 35, the conversation out of 85% of the Clark haters out there is going to be, well, Mitchell had 33. She carried him. Well, Clark hit the dagger 3. What do you do late? What do you do in the clutch? What do you do when your team needs a friggin' bucket? Only a few can answer that. She's not the MVP of the league at this moment, but she definitely deserves to be in the conversation. She definitely deserves to be in the conversation. Carlos has the most favorable whistle in the league. I just want these girls to deal with the energy that CC gets. I guarantee you their stats get cut in half. She's not defended, or they're not defended like she is. I mean, I think you guys are, 35, 37, 38% from 3-point. That's to me, that's not bad. I'm sorry. You don't give me a player that, is 3 for 6 for the season and call it 50%. She's efficient because she only threw it up, 6 times. But when are you knocking these shots down? Again, I can't overstate it, man. I can't. There's value in that. Late in the game, late in the fourth, stop and a run, need a bucket, need a dagger, who's going to step up? I take all that in consideration, especially when I'm calling the games. I look for that. Hey, man, need a bucket right here. Who's stepping up? Big time 3. There's your dagger. And by the way, the league average for those that keep throwing it back at me is 33 to 35%. You know what the league average is for guards? Right around 33 to 34. So there's nothing wrong with being in the league average. Indiana, if you're talking about volume, they're one of the top volume shooter teams because they also have depth coming off the bench in Cunningham too, and other players that can knock it down. But you guys keep throwing stats at me, but then I counter and we start talking about what? The minutes, the volume, or the lack thereof, right? How much of the time restriction was about controlling her stats? Good morning, Miss B on the West Coast. You got to go back and really watch these games, man. Honestly. I think there was opportunities in some of these games. Remember a couple weeks ago when we were on the air, and you can go back, it's on the channel. I flat out said verbatim, watch going forward how her minutes play out, because that will also affect what? Her stats and production. And if you look, there were a lot of times this year where you can argue she shouldn't have come off the floor. You can argue she probably could have got another 4 to 6 here and there, which bumps up your average. And it makes this conversation much more compelling and much more debatable. Like right now, it's one-sided because Wilson has just been a dominant force. But I can't control the fact that, the minutes restrictions. I mean, there were a couple games where you're like, well, why are you pulling her? She's a volume scorer as well. But when she plays 29 plus, her average goes up exponentially. It goes up 3 more points. It goes from 21.6 to 24.5. So are we really going to split hairs? 25 and one player scoring 26? If you guys are more inclined to sit there and say, well, rim protector, defense, well, she's also the center position. Worthy of MVP. Yes. Worthy of MVP. But again, 22, got to have her in that conversation, man. Got to. And, she's fouled all the time. I mean, every single friggin' shot. I played it for you. Do I need to keep playing it for you? Like, this is a perfect example of why I get aggravated. It is. This is a perfect example. For those that sit there and want to talk about efficiency, tell me where the call is right here.
And Caitlin Clark, there's always time when you've got the range. They will take a look at it, and it is good.
At the same time, she's been getting busy, but every player on here is worthy of it. Wilson is just a monster.
And then Caitlin Clark, there's always time when you've got the range. They will take a look.
I mean, it speaks for itself. She's fouled on the dish and she's fouled on the three-pointer, and they don't call it. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it right now. If she somehow puts up ungodly numbers and they go on a run of runs and they win 10 out of 11, 11 out of 12, forget about what happens in the playoff, regular season award. And her numbers jump exponentially. Now she's averaging 25, right around 39% from beyond the arc. She's averaging a double-double, close to a triple-double. And she doesn't win. And you clearly know that she is the MVP. And they just vote against her to vote against her. Then all things considered, then we can have a conversation after the season ends what her future should be. Now, she's going to make the decision on her own. Obviously, she's not going to take her ball and go somewhere else. But the league is set up where she will not succeed. She has to succeed and thrive despite the league basically having their thumb on her. And that's tough to do, man. It's tough to do. Mike and Ohio chimes in, Q, I think you equated to the NFL quarterbacks getting the calls. Yeah, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, Brady, Manning, they would get the calls, man. And some quarterbacks that are young haven't earned the right to get the calls. I think this kid has earned the right to get the calls because of what's happened this year. Adam Silver had to step up because Humperdinck decided to not give or to hand down, or the referees decided to not hand down a flagrant 2 against Thomas. Got to take all that into consideration. All of it. Texas, be well, brother. Appreciate you. Probably got annoyed with Marcus. I don't blame you. Michael says, fun fact, click the 3 dots of those who are trolling, and that will block you from seeing the race baiting trolls. I have 500 comments. I told you guys, troll me all you want. You can troll me all you want. You can troll me. Just be respectful on the chat. You're allowed to have an opinion. Okay? Just be respectful on the chat. That's all I ask. Okay? We can agree to disagree. That's why we do the show every day. By the way, I'm also on SR 1029 FM The Game, Odyssey app. Tom Brady never played defense. Yeah, but Tom Brady also got a lot of calls. Come on. That's apples and oranges. That's apples and oranges. They call the quarterback, when you're the quarterback and you're the face of a franchise, again, or MVP, right? You're going to get the calls, right? So if it's a touch on the helmet, you're getting the pass interference. The roughing the passer, pardon me. What did Mahomes really create? Almost like the fake slide, fake going out of bounds. But guess what? The NFL decided, well, if you're going to stay in bounds, you're just as good as a ball carrier. But he would figure out a way just before he went out of bounds to draw that contact and make it so bang, bang, where he's getting the 15 yards. They're still throwing the flag because it's Mahomes. She's a star. She is a star. I'm not saying give her star treatment, but be fair. That's all I'm saying. Be fair with the officiating. And they're not. She's not even getting that to be a generational player and everything she's meant to this league in a short sample size. Edward says she doesn't play no defense. Have a blessed day. All right, Edward. Probably checking the box score. Appreciate you coming in, coming out. Not a problem. She played defense against Seattle, and then she hit the dagger. But I guess, we forget about that. Just saying. All right. Man, I'll tell you what. A lot of hate on a Saturday. I thought I was going to come on and just, we were going to have a little fun and, that's what we're going to do. And here we go. Who's making Caitlin Clark the victim? Okay, wow. Might have Marcus start paying to come on the chat. What do you guys think? Paul, come on, stop. What about every guard in the league, though? Come on. You're going to say that about the rookie? Come on. Man, I don't know why you guys hate her so much. Whew. I just don't get it. She's not perfect. There's no perfect player in the league. But I think we might have to get you guys on the sofa and kind of break it down a little more. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And by the way, when you are a great shooter and you score like she does, no one's sitting there saying you got to be a lockdown defender. Jalen Brunson, is anyone complaining about Jalen Brunson's defense? No. I'm a Knicks fan. You think I gave a shit if Jalen Brunson played defense in the finals? He's averaging 40-something, 45 on the road in a closeout game. Anyone talk about Curry's defense? No. You guys are very hard to please. Nobody criticized. Yeah. That's nailed it. Nailed it. Jesse Times around. A lot of black people that like CC. It's just a racist and woke that hate her. Again, I think just people don't like her because they don't like her. Black, white, yellow, green, straight, gay. They just don't like her. But to your point, Jess, and I appreciate it, the beauty of doing what I do, and again, for those that are new, always appreciate it. If you like the content, subscribe, hit the notifications. For the Q crew that joins me pretty much almost every day, you guys know we're not doing the clickbait. We're just kind of bringing it, having a little engagement, having a little fun, little entertainment. But we always allow the commenters to expose themselves because eventually you see people for who they really are at the end of the day, right? You do. Taking CC in and out of the game. Last night was ridiculous. They did it defensive and then they put her back on the floor. But I know what you're saying. She definitely doesn't use her TOs correctly to stop run. She's a bad head coach. She it's like almost watching Brett Brown back in the day, or Doc Rivers. Or when the Knicks played Cleveland and they kept sticking Harden on an island and Atkinson never decided to call a timeout. Sometimes you call a timeout just to settle things down. You challenge just to settle your team down. And I still don't believe she trusts Caitlin Clark because if Clark has a turnover, that's not her fault. What happens? She looks at the bench, they blow the whistle, it's a timeout, and she pulls her. You got to let players play through mistakes. You have to. Yes. Correct. And Eric, I played that clip. I played that. It was bad. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't want to block anyone. I don't. I mean, you guys can block all you want. I just ignore it. Honestly, we're having a good time. We've been talking for an hour plus, talking basketball. Don't worry about it. I didn't want to be someone that does a show. I was like this on the radio for 20 plus years. I never really want to police a caller unless you're really doing something that's vile and nasty. And if you come a certain way, then yeah, you're going to get blocked. But just ignore it. Certain comments pop up and just keep it moving, man. Just keep it moving because I respect you guys and I respect that you engage and you come at it at a certain way. So just, we look, I can tell you this, there are people that tune into this show and they do try to race bait. They do try to get under my skin. I don't allow it. It doesn't bother me one bit. Don't let it get to you. Let them just expose themselves. If you go to my TikTok at RichQ on the mic, I mean, I can't post something without getting the hate, especially if it's a Caitlin Clark post or something derogatory about the league and the officiating. It is what it is. All walks of life, my friends. Don't worry about it. Let's just do each other. Well, not that way, but you do you, I do me. What do we got there? I say she's elite. I do. Defense, you can grow into that. 100%. Ashley, what's going on? CCE would have to just about run out the rest of the season to be MVP. 100%. If her numbers aren't elite, then who is? Agree. Absolutely agree. It baffled me last night with that graphic. It just absolutely baffled me with that graphic that they just totally glossed over it. They glossed over it, right? And that's a bad thing, man. Wilson shouldn't get the MVP. She's 2 times better than anyone else that Have a blessed day. Edward, I thought you had a blessed day like 20 minutes ago and you still came on. All right, Edward chiming in, doing a little troll job. Not a problem. CC just wants to win it. Edward probably didn't listen to the first hour and a half of the show, so we know where Edward kind of hangs his hat. And you have a blessed day too, my friend. Hey, we didn't get any Bible scripture today, which is a good thing, right? We didn't. Race baiters will always cry about race. No, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. They don't want CC to get Rookie of the Year either. Good guards, yeah. Some of y'all stopped to need this hate on Caitlin Clark. Haters are always going to hate. Listen, so we are going to start wrapping it up. By the way, we dropped a little Friday night tidbit last night. If you guys want to check out a little NFL conversation, that is on the channel. We broke down kind of the news and the notes. We kind of went around the league. Also, I talked a lot about the officiating. So like I said, hit the subscribe button, like the notifications. And like I said, guys, look, at the end of the day, don't get turned off by who's commenting, who's not commenting. Just keep the engagement coming. I see the comments. We'll flush them out. We want to talk hoops. We want to have fun. That's exactly why I do what I do. That's why I take the time to do it, working on an hour plus sleep. Called 7 straight games last night overseas. I'm a little exhausted, but I do it because you guys engage, you guys comment, and you enjoy the channel and the show. Monday to Friday, on cue. Rich Quinones here, SR 1029 FM The Game, Odyssey. We're also going to be on a couple of other apps. If you are a football fan, hit the notifications, hit the subscribe button. We also do our sports betting pod, Back Your Play. So we do a lot of college, a lot of NFL. I got my NFL insiders. I got former players that are come on throughout the season for the NFL fans. We just don't go basketball centric. We talk a lot about it, but we also dive into college hoops, NBA, college football, NFL, Major League Baseball trade deadlines right around the corner as well. So all I ask is focus on the show, focus on the engagement, focus on me, focus on the content. Don't worry about what's happening in the chats. Engage in a friendly and respectful fashion. I want you guys to keep coming back. I don't want you to be turned off by anyone in the chat. As long as no one is doing something that is spewing just nasty hate or violence, we'll block it out. They'll be banned. But for the most part, I do allow a little of freedom with the comments because it's engagement. And I want to hear what you guys have to say. And I want to be fair about it. And we can agree and we can disagree. That's okay. Like I said, just come correct. Just be respectful. But there's a lot of good content on the channel. And if you are a football fan, we go heavy. Back Your Play is going to start in a little bit. We're going to do the gambling lines, the betting lines, the trends, the win totals, the over-unders. I got my guy Lloyd Vance, covers the NFL. Nick Costco, 24/7, unbelievable with college football. John Bueller from Fansided covers the SEC, covers the NFL as well. Steve Gardner, Hall of Fame writer in USA Today, joins me. We talk a little baseball. So we're working on a lot more guests for the show moving forward, but I need you guys. I want you guys to keep commenting. I want you guys to keep subscribing. I want you guys to keep sharing. I want you guys to keep commenting at me on social media. You guys hit up the videos. I try to get back to every one of you guys, even the ones that troll me, which is not a problem. I try to be very fair. So all I ask is that you just keep giving the show that I'm doing and the channel just a fair shake. Let's have fun with it. That's all. Let's have fun with it. Because at the end of the day, it's sports talk, man. All we're doing. We're just throwing out sports. T coming in. LeBron with the NBA record for... T, did you see my LeBron take, by the way? Going to the Philadelphia 76ers? That's on the channel. I think it's a cluster. I think it's going to blow up in their face. You got an alpha in Jaylen Brown. You got an injury-prone Embiid. Whew. They're trying to do the dream team, are they not? CC Jersey... Sales speak more than stats. Money talks. And think about that, Mike. And she's still not getting the love that she deserves by the media or the league itself. Right? I found a few other players that I really like in the W. I've been a sports fan my whole life. Pam, appreciate it. That's what it's all about. I mean, there's no player that you shouldn't genuinely hate someone or a player, right? Coach, CC needs more than 5 consecutive great games. I can't stand the excuses CC make for every bad game. Hey, listen, I'll say this, Paul. I came on the air when she imploded and she played poorly. After the 45 points, she had 7 turnovers and I think 3 assists, and I killed her. and people were getting on me. I think she's a fantastic player. I'm a huge fan, but you also have to be fair, and you got to call it down the line. So consistency is the key in everything, right? Consistency is the key in life. If she continues this run and they continue winning, totally different. Totally different. Thank you, Rich. They always act like they know basketball more than anyone else. CC is an incredible player. So is Audrey, so is Miles. But don't disrespect CC to diminish her. Listen, opinions are opinions, man. Opinions are opinions. You know, I'm pretty, blessed, and I had to work hard for it. I call games in the States, and I do a lot of overseas games. So I watch a substantial amount of basketball, and I see a lot of great players, female leagues and male leagues, and the game is different. It's a little more different in Europe. They don't want the basketball to touch the floor. It's a little more wide open, SIPA Pack or SIPA Copac, right, in Mexico, or in some of these other leagues in Malta. Warriors, Thailand, has about 85-90% American-born players, and that is like a 6-week odyssey, man. January, February, bleeding into late February, March, I'm calling games 12 o'clock my time in the States, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock their time. I'm calling 6, 7 straight games. So I'm really looking at a ton of players that played at a high level, right? It's a little more wide open space, a little more guys that dribble drive, too much ISO ball for my liking. Same with some of these female leagues, especially in Malta, in Greece, in Iceland, and Turkey. But the talent's there. I just appreciate great talent. And if you're a first timer, as I alluded to, I don't care what your sexual preference is. And I sure as shit don't care what color your skin is. If you can play, man. I'm going to appreciate your game. I mean, hell, there's a smaller league that I call games called the WABA, which is a feeder system to the ABA, which, as you know, has certain rules where you get a turnover in the backcourt, the red light goes on, a 2 becomes a 3, a 3 becomes a 4. I mean, that's a glorified YMCA on a Saturday. The game is wide open. But some of these teams in the Midwest and the East Coast, this smaller league, some of these girls can flat out play. And some of these leagues, you're already seeing, you saw the kid from the Upshot League sign a contract, which is a feeder system. I just appreciate good basketball. I appreciate good basketball, good talent, and I just want these games to be fairly called. But we know the refereeing in this league it's an abomination. There's nothing we can do about it. The fans can bitch and complain. I can come on every day until I'm blue in the face and rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's the same stuff. It's never going to change until they really invest in these refs, until they really invest in the officiating. The fact that you can't challenge or review the last 2 minutes, it's an abomination. They have to get rid of this commissioner, who I believe is already on borrowed time. They're not going to re-up her contract. They're just not. And you got to see what a player like Caitlin Clark will eventually decide to do, because she's in line for that Epic contract. And who knows, if Indiana loses, if they hit the skids, if they get bounced, maybe they go in a different direction and they fire the head coach. But it's all wait and see. In the interim, what I saw last night, I friggin' enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I didn't care if she's white, black, yellow, green, purple, blue. Triple-double is a friggin' triple-double. I love watching her game. And yeah, I knew about the kid when she was coming into college, because at the time, you know who I compared her to? Another phenomenal player who I covered in high school and college, and that was Elena Delle Donne. Now, Elena Delle Donne spurned Gino because she wanted to be back at home with her sister and close to Delaware. She broke all the records. She also played volleyball. She's a Hall of Famer. So I've been watching women's sports, women's basketball, just like I've been covering women's boxing since it became, and I say this loosely, sexy, meaning like, oh man, women's boxing is on the rise. I've been calling it for 20 plus years and covering it. I always appreciate good basketball. And that's what I try to give you, some good analysis and opinion, and we debate it. And as I started the show, I'll start to circle back and end it. What I'm seeing right now warrants the conversation of she's a legit MVP candidate. Whether she deserves to win the award, whether she'll earn a chance to win the award, it's yet to be seen. It's not a knock on the other players. Don't think for 1 minute when you have an opinion, there's a difference between hating, trolling, and being prejudiced. Meaning, I just don't like because I don't like. You can kind of filter through that, and you can really see in the chat, in the engagement, who watches the games and who doesn't? Who goes on social and follows the lead, and who comes up and formulates their own opinion about a player? And I know for the most part, those that have really been engaging in my channel over the last month, because the numbers have been astronomical, it's like a 400 and something odd % increase. You guys are fanatical hoop fans, and I appreciate the fact that you friggin' watch the games. You just don't scoreboard watch. You don't box score. You actually take a deep dive into it. That's what we try to do on the show. But if I have an opinion about one player, it doesn't mean I'm dismissing another player. If I like one player, it doesn't mean I hate another player. I stated the case. She doesn't play as many minutes as these other players. She has more of an impact on the floor. If you take her off the floor, they're not as good. It hurts her that she has a Mitchell, but yet, because of her, Mitchell is able to thrive. She's not a dominant player in this regard. She's not Wilson, because Wilson is a center. And she plays, she's paid and expected to play what? Both ends of the floor. Do the dirty work, down on the low block, rim protect, get rebounds, start the fast break, get in and dish and go. Clark is the catalyst. She's the facilitator. She's the maestro. And it's a thing of beauty. And after what I saw last night, what I saw the 45-point game, what I've been seeing from her, she is locked in. She is locked in. She starts to get some of these calls. There's a little more spacing on the floor, and her shot continues to drop, and she starts getting clean looks. This team is going to be a very dangerous out, because they have role players that are confident. As soon as they come off the bench, they start knocking down shots. That's a plus. That's a positive. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. Let me get to a couple more of these comments. What do you guys say? What are you guys saying? What are you guys saying? What are you guys saying? Nobody in history has 20 points, 8 assists for a week. She's doing it the whole year. Aja and Cece are the only two putting up crazy numbers and MVP worthy. I also believe we look at the center position, and there is a bias towards the center position. I mentioned this the other day. Back in the day, the NBA, it was dominant heavy. It was center heavy. And the award went to who? The award always went to a center. It always did, because it was the dominant position. Remember, the argument was, well, if you're starting an NBA franchise, what position do you want to start? Well, guess what? We're not saying center anymore. Sometimes we're saying, wing, right? We're saying guard, shooting guard. More times than not, we're really not talking about the center, because the center position, I'm not saying it's a dinosaur, but it's different. You got guys that are 7-something that can play on the low block, but they're standing out beyond the arc. It's a different animal. It's one of the reasons I was so happy, besides being a Knicks fan, that the Spurs didn't win, because everyone say this is how you build a team around a 7-4 player. No, you don't. You don't. Inside out, just like in the NFL. Start with the offensive line in the trenches, you work your way out. So this league might still look at the center position, the dominant position. There might be a bias towards that. And the argument might be, well, there's 4 or 5 other guards in the league that can shoot threes like Caitlin Clark. Again, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not trying to hedge my bet. I'm not trying to, push the goalpost back. I'm just saying that maybe that's their line of thinking. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Maybe that's their line of thinking. And look, turnovers are always going to be a part of the game. Paige had turnovers the other night. Paige decided to not shoot the rock late. Miles has had turnovers. Wilson has had turnovers. Mitchell has had turnovers. Players have turnovers in this friggin' league because it's not the most fundamentally sound league as a whole. It's not. Matter of months, they went from averaging 100-point game once every several years to making triple digits of regular occurrence. Their offense is humming. Their offense is absolutely humming right now. They're playing really good basketball. The one broadcaster actually made an intelligent conversation, an intelligent point last night. They want to get out and run. They want to push the pace. Okay? They want to push the pace. If double-double isn't a stat, then guess what? You just killed the Wilson argument because she's a double-double machine. This kid can go out and score 35 the next 9 games every night, and you guys are not going to give her just due. I mean, they can call timeout. She can be on the cusp of a triple-double, 45 points, 15 rebounds, 15 assists. She reels off 13 straight. They come from behind down 30 points with 6 minutes to go. They call timeout. She can run over to the bench. Maybe somebody's choking on a hot dog. She can give them CPR. She can give them the Heimlich maneuver. She can save the person in the front row. She can score the winning bucket. And you guys are still going to come on the next day and sit there and say, well, honestly, it was only a small little bite of that hot dog. I could have saved that guy. I mean, there's nothing she can do that will win you guys over, period. There's nothing she can do. I think we all need to accept it, right? We all need to accept it. That's just where we're at. Yes, I had to use that analogy. I had to. Let's see, providing great defense, just in a slump. Step up, Sophie, and win all that matters. They're playing good basketball, man. Just, the league, this is what you want, right, though? We don't want to talk about the officiating. We don't want to talk about players betting. We don't want to talk about, some of these pacifist, activist reporters with these goofy questions after a game. We're finally talking about what we saw on the floor, man. That's what we want to do. We want to talk about the game, right? The context within the game, and debate and argue and go back and forth. I mean, at least that's what I want to do. You guys, I told you, do not buy into it. Do not buy into it. Eric, appreciate you, brother. I do. Listen, man, like I said, I like to talk about not only sports, but I do like to have the conversations that others won't have when it warrants. We did a lot on how the media covers the league. We did a lot on the lack of leadership. We did a lot on the officiating. We also talked a lot about the role of the media and how these players are portrayed. That's all on the channel. And we've had some really good conversation, really good deep dialogue, right? To kind of get in. Sometimes, yes, it's fun to go past the X's and O's, but on a night like last night, I want to talk X's and O's, and I want to talk about the game. Joe D, chiming in Q, when are we dropping more NFL talk? We got it this week coming up, man. I start to actually give week 1 futures and week 1 lines. We got the Hall of Fame game coming up. So, yeah, we go NFL heavy, college football heavy, Big Ten, SEC, ACC. For my Florida audience, we got the Destin FM scoreboard. I dropped that as well. So anyone that's in the Florida region, whether you're on the Miami side, whether you're on the Tampa side, whether you're in the Panhandle, we dropped that as well on Destin FM. Download the app. We dive into that too. Sergeant Delaware Q, I don't know how you do it sometimes. Hey, man, it's all fun. I do it because we love talking sports and we love engaging, and I certainly love to argue. Wilson shooting 42. That's a pretty good percentage. Her efficiency needs work, Rich. Okay. Not perfect, Marcus. No player is. Coach, no player is perfect. But again, how many times, I mean, can we look at the shot selection? Can we look at the shot selection? So Wilson is efficient from the floor. She's extremely efficient. But please, for the life of me, and I'm saying this with all due respect because you guys are trying to get me. I know my friggin' stats and I know what I'm talking about. Don't give me Wilson, who shot, and I'm not even looking it up, and I guarantee I'm 100% correct. Don't give me a player that has probably shot 2 3-point attempts and say she's shooting 42%. Stop. You're going to compare that to a volume scorer in Caitlin Clark that on any given night, we already know how many 3-point shots she's going to attempt a game? She's 36% from beyond the arc. Enough said. Come on, coach. Enough said. My goodness. My goodness. Best players are the best players. Agree. T is a feisty one. How miserable do you have to be? Stalk CC fans channels. Well, it's a sports channel, but you're right. We like talking Caitlin Clark. We like supporting Caitlin Clark. We like to do it objectively. Tanya, you're funny. Don't let it get to you guys. This is the beauty. This is the beauty. This is the beauty. Rich is the best YouTuber out here on the subject of all of the sudden. Good looking, Rich. I came out of nowhere and took the game over. I don't know about that. I mean, I like to just enjoy what I do. So if you're giving me a compliment, thank you. I do, honestly. If you are paying me a compliment, there are some good channels out there. I believe some of them though are clickbait. I don't believe they do like a very deep dive like you guys do with me. And I also think some of it is misinformation. You know, even when I'm on the air, when I'm on the radio, you know, we're trying to convey it in a certain way, right? I mean, I've been doing that for years. That's why I enjoy, once we start getting players on, we're going to have a lot more fun with the engagement, which I'm probably going to have to maybe enforce a couple of rules. But, you know, I watch some of these channels because I'm curious to see their opinions or how they think. And I would never discredit anyone, to each his own. And look, to me, views or engagement, I love it. You know, subscriptions are great. You get that organically. But I can easily come on and throw something out there and, you know, boom, all of a sudden it gets a couple 100,000. You pick up, you know, thousands of subs. That's not the way I like doing it. It's kind of like a slow and steady burn because I want to earn your trust that you can come here. Here's your source for, you know, good sports talk, raw, passionate, unfiltered sports talk, breakdown, analysis, guest, you know, insider, stuff like that. So I take that serious. I do. But I'll say this, some of these channels, I think the issue is that they are very agenda driven and they're really not telling you the full picture. Like if we're arguing about fouls, I'm giving you some highlights. If we're talking about stats, we're breaking it down. Like we're just not throwing it out there to throw it out there. So the fact that, you know, you guys might be first time listeners and you're kind of on the fence. Am I buying in what he's saying? Hey, we'll continue to build that rapport. We'll continue to build that trust. And if you trust in what I'm saying and enjoy it, then hopefully you'll keep chiming in and you'll follow me on other social platforms. You'll follow me when I call these games for these leagues, and you'll follow me when I do other content on the channel, which is just not basketball and hoops. I mean, when I say we go NFL heavy, we go NFL heavy. I mean, we get some former players. We'll get some insiders coming on. We'll get some good analysis. We get fans that are all over, man. That's why I always encourage you guys to let me know where are you commenting from, because then I try to make a mental note. All right, what fan am I dealing with here, right? And then we can have a little fun with it. But, you know, I appreciate the kind words. I do. I appreciate the kind words. Very, very nice of you. A lot of Angel Reese coming in. A lot of hate on Caitlin still. I don't know where Pete is, guys. I don't know. All right, betting. Here we go. Not winning championship. The fact that she took Iowa squad to back, pretty good. Angel, almost the same. Doesn't have the ball third of the time, and she misses layups. She also gets a ton of rebounds. So I don't mind Angel Reese. Great players win championships, Rich. Clark has yet to do it. She's still young in her career. That's a fair point. But then in one breath, you can't have other players who haven't won leapfrog her and not make the same argument. Is that fair? I'm playing devil's advocate again. I'm being Switzerland. Is that fair? So you can't give me some of these other players that you think are better than Clark and not use that same argument. You can push back. That's fine. And you're right, eventually, great players do, if they have an opportunity, rise to the challenge and they win. And that's what you need to do. If you really want to be that generational, all-time great talent, you lift up your teammates. I believe she is starting to do that. That's why the offense is humming. And we see it in the NFL all the time with the quarterback play. Are you elevating your offense? To your point, Marcus, the great ones elevate their offense. They figure out a way. They figure out a way to elevate, or they get their players involved. They figure out a way to get the ball to the tight end's hands, recognize the cover two, recognize the wide receiver has that mismatch, the one-on-one, call that audible down. The great ones do it, and they win. And they win. But I'm not going to define, how many all-time greats where we can't, it's not disputable. We can't sit there and say Barkley wasn't an all-time great. We can't say Patrick wasn't an all-time great. We can't say Marino wasn't an all-time great. Well, they never won. You give them true serum, you back them in the corner, I guarantee you they'll trade all their accolades, their all-stars, they're all pros for a chance to win a ring. 100%. It still bothers Marino that people sit there and say one of the all-time best who never won. No, he was an all-time great. Championships hardware, okay, right? It goes on the shelf, but it doesn't always define you. It just doesn't. It doesn't always define you. How many players don't have NBA championships because they couldn't get through number 23? Malone, Stockton, Miller, Pat, Oakley, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, Michael Jordan tormented the city of Ohio, tormented Cleveland, right? Tormented my Knicks. But those players that doesn't mean their careers were any less than fantastic. They weren't all-time greats. Yes, they were all-time greats. They just weren't champions. But their body of work, their resume speaks for itself. You're sitting here saying this girl has to win right now to be considered an all-time great. I believe she's an all-time great right now. And I believe an MVP would be wonderful. A championship, it should solidify that status. But in the eyes of many, it does not matter. In the eyes of many, she will never be that player where some of you sit there and say 5, 10, 15 years from now, she was it. You just won't allow it. You'll back it up with some obscure stats, a bad streak of shooting, coach is getting fired, maybe she's traded, being too selfish, a ball hawk, she shoots too much. People are always going to be critical of the great ones. I always say this, the ones that are redefining the sport, the position, the ones that go through the wall first, they always get bloodied and battered. They're always the first ones to absorb the bullets. Her impact is just not on the floor. Her impact has taken this league to another level. And if you're truly being honest to yourself and you put your prejudice, your bias, your trolling, your negative Nelliness away on a Saturday, you have to admit it. The numbers, the eyeballs, the merchandise, the ratings, the CBA, revenue going up, salaries going up. Now, that doesn't win you an MVP, but to me, that's a valuable friggin' person. That is a valuable player. Everything she said she was going to do or what's expected of her, she has done it. She's done it. And let's be fully transparent. Even if she wins MVP and wins a championship, you guys will still be critical. You'll still be critical. There will be no pleasing you. I hand you a bag full of $1 million, you're going to complain it's too heavy to carry. Championships don't define a player. Your legacy does. It's legacy, folks. It's legacy. The Jordan and LeBron goofy argument, Jordan won his rings 6 and 12. LeBron, it's longevity at this point. It's not even debatable. It's not. And we can argue that another day, but point is, it's about legacy, the impact. What are you leaving when you leave the game? What are you leaving on the floor? What have you done? Have you made the league better? Have you grown the league? Have you marketed? Have you helped brand the league? She has done all that. No other player has done that. With all due respect, no. Buckets, Cunningham, Wilson, Stewart, no. Page, no. Miles, no. None of them are responsible for getting the CBA deal done, for getting, the percentages going up in the salaries. None of them. These broadcast deals where every single solitary night, the highest rated games have to do with who? Indiana and Caitlin Clark. Not Mitchell and Caitlin Clark. Steffi White and Caitlin Clark. No. Indiana, Caitlin Clark. Those are factual. It's undisputable. It's undeniable. You cannot debate that. The numbers do not lie. The valuation of all these franchises has gone up because of one friggin' person, because she's made the value of the league go up exponentially. There's value in that. Now, that doesn't win you awards, but my little rant is for those that constantly keep pushing back and saying she's not good. She doesn't really bring value. She doesn't really do anything. She doesn't, quote, move the needle. The hell she doesn't. She moves the needle where we're talking about it every single day, where you get broadcasters making millions of dollars who want to poo-poo and piss on her, who want to bury her, who want to dig the grave. You got networks, you got Congress stepping up, you got Fox talking about it, you got MSNBC talking about it, CNN talking about it, you got all the networks, the rat ship, Fox Sports, ESPN, you got all these talking heads that are doing their damnedest to try to, quote, put her in her place. And all she does is drop buckets. That's it. All she does, triple-double. Triple-double. There's nothing wrong with growth. There's nothing wrong with taking credit for it. And there's nothing wrong with sharing it. People don't like her because everyone knows she's been the catalyst of growth. Now you have other players that are coming into their own. There is enough to go around. But you just got to be fair sometimes. You got to be a little objective, and you got to sometimes, take off the blinders. That's all I'm saying. Just take off the blinders. And you guys, some of you still haven't answered my question. Down late, bucket to go. Who are you giving the ball to? There's players in this league that are really good. They are. And a stretch of games does not define one player's career. It doesn't. Scott Mitchell cashed in, right? Remember Scott Mitchell, backup quarterback? Little cup of coffee, right? And then what? He cashes in on a big contract. We see Matt Robinson back in the day for the Jets, cashed in, right? Never panned out to be a starter. A stretch of games doesn't define a career. But again, I'll just leave you with this. If you guys are very quick to throw that at us or me or the pro supporters, the pro we believe she should be in the MVP conversation, then you have to do it with other players. So if Wilson struggles, it's a different argument because we've seen she's won the award. She's an all-time great. But if Bucket struggles, if Miles struggles, now what are you going to say? Well, Q, you mentioned the rookie wall and Collier's back. If Stewart struggles, just try to be objective. Try to be fair. I am not coming on the air today and saying she is the MVP of the league. I came on the air today to say, after last night and after what she's been doing in her body of work, you have to make a strong case where she is a legit candidate for MVP. That's what I said. And I stand by that. And we'll see tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow. And part of me deep down is like, I hope she scores 30-5 because I know it's going to happen. I don't know, maybe I'll do a post-game recap tomorrow if you guys want me to, because it'll be early enough. I'll get a couple hours sleep. I'll watch the game. I'll come back on the air and we'll recap it because I guarantee you guys will wait. Now, Mondays is when we do a Man Up Monday. That's, Man Up Monday on a Monday show, right? We man up for all the proclamations on Friday and Saturday, whatever. You got to man up and take it like a man, right? You got to own up to your hot take or your opinion. But if she scores 35 tomorrow, if she scores 13 tomorrow and they lose by 20, I'm still going to come on it. We will do a post because we know the trolls have to come out. They have to fester. They smell blood. The werewolves have to come out. They have to eat. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Excellent stuff. Man, you guys hung with me for whew, how long? You guys are fantastic. All right, I'm going to try to filter through these comments. I told you if you I can't even read. I can't even read some of these comments right now. Wow. You guys are funny. You guys are funny. Uh, uh, no, you know what it is? I trust me. And I am far. Let me just say this before I close out. There's 700 and something odd comments. I am far from a pure soul. I've been doing this long enough where when I was on the air, nobody greater than Jesus, I'll tell you, I'll share this because I shared it before. Um, if it's that bad, then yes, I will look into start blocking people. But I don't want to turn off new listeners and commenters. I don't. Um, and I'll make a judgment on that. But I've been on the other end of it and I get it. I get it. I was on the radio for years in different markets and I know how people can be and I know what they can come with. So I'm just, you know, I'm asking you guys, I'm asking you, like the guys, the men that are on the chat, just, tighten it up a little bit, will you? Talk sports. Talk sports. We can talk and we can have fun debates and we can go back and forth, but I don't want people to think this is not it's not a safe place for them to come on because then they'll think guilt by association. I'm allowing it. I allow opinion, but just keep it when we're talking sports. Let's keep it to sports. We don't need the Bible verses. We don't need the political. We don't need the black or white. If we're talking about how the league is viewed and we get into the straight gay, the black, white, and we go down that rabbit hole like we've had, it's a different conversation. Okay. And for the new listeners and commenters, safe. This is a safe place. Comment away, ignore it. If you're getting attacked, let me know. We'll take care of it. Hit me up on social. My email is also in the channel as well. And trust me, I am far. Back in the day, man, if I had to go to church on a Sunday and I stick my finger in the holy water, you might get smoke. Oh, my goodness. All right. That's funny. Yeah, you guys had some good comments today. 100%. 100%. All right. Again, tomorrow, like I said, we'll see how the game plays out, and we'll fire it out, right? We will fire it up. You got it, man. A lot of ball to be played, man. Give me some more. Give me some more. Give me some more. If you like the show, hit the notifications. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Keep the comments coming, clean. Also share. Give me a follow on social too. You guys can hit me up on X at RichQ on IG at RichQ. If you go to my TikTok page at RichQ, I'm sorry, RichQ on a mic. Be careful. It gets a little ugly on there, but don't worry. We check them. We check them at the door. But again, man, unbelievable. Let me see here. Rich, you never call Cece Arich in anything. Now you can't say she's an archery. So I think you're new to the show, Paul. I think we were going back and forth too, right? The other day where you were checking my knowledge. And I said, you're free to chime in. I've called her out sometimes for going after the officials. I called her out for sloppy play, for some of the bad turnovers. And I literally said she needs to mature on the floor. She has to grow up. So her defense is not good. I mean, I think that's better than me saying she's an average defender. I'm telling you it's not good. When she needed to make a play late against Seattle, she did, but she is a defensive liability. So you got to listen in a little more closely with all due respect. She didn't invent the game of basketball, but I think we kind of clearly stated the case why she's got to be in that MVP conversation. That's all. Appreciate you, brother. Listen, that's all we try to do. That's all we try to do. And we try to have fun. What I'm working on down the road, just to let you guys know, is we are figuring out a way that trying to get the show simulcast on a couple other platforms. And if that's the case, that's why I need your help. I need you guys to keep subscribing, sharing, hit the notifications. But if that's the case, if that's the case, we might be able to actually start to incorporate phone calls. which, which I'm already starting to sweat. So I'll be able to maybe give like a show number out, and you guys will be able to call up, which there's no promises. There's no promises to that. But, you know, there's going to have to be a screening process involved, because I'm telling you right now, man, whew, if I start to check out these caller IDs and these guys, you know, I start to recognize these handles, man, not good. Not good. But like I said, we try to be fair. We try to be objective. If she plays bad tomorrow, we're going to talk about it. And you guys can come on and troll me all you want. And remember, at the end of the day, you know the old adage about opinions. You know what they're like. Everyone has one. DB coming in. He says, keep it friendly, you bastard. You got it, DB. A little NFL talk. After watching you on Livewire, become a fan. I appreciate that, Billy B. That's my guy. Mr. Wire, Marty, he's a good dude. They're good people, man. That kid knows his shit, and I like the way he comes off. I do. He does his research. He's presentable. But no, I had fun. I had fun jumping on. I'm sure I'll be on again soon. I appreciate that. Michael, you got it, brother. All right, you guys have a rolling Saturday. Please, rolling Saturday. Monica, be well. Stay out of trouble, will you? T, stay out of trouble, will you? Will you guys? Come on. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, we will pop on tomorrow after the game. We will do instant reaction, and I have a feeling if she struggles, the rats are going to come out of the woodwork. Don't forget, like I said, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Period. That's all I ask. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Notifications. Go Rams. Oh, they're loaded. They're stacked. Stacked. Michael, I think you chimed in last night when we did a little free-for-all. We did a little free-for-all Friday, talking a little NFL. Oh, they're stacked. And we don't know if they're going to get Donald back. So I'm telling you, a lot of NFL conversation coming up. A ton. Craig Elo has entered. Oh, man. And how about this? You get the out-of-bounds play, right? Baseline. Goes right to the bucket off the glass. You think the freaking game's over. Oh. Michael Jordan ruined a lot of careers. He did. I mean, as a Knick fan, dread it. Dread it. And I didn't hate Jordan as much as I hated Hardaway and Miller. But Jordan, I mean, listen, the Charles Smith game, it almost made me cry. You know, Pat missing a layup against Indiana was the coup de grace. I mean, I literally sat on the floor, my parents' living room, the old-fashioned brick chimney, for an hour until my father had to come and get me and say, get up, it's only a game. Get up. They'll be back. And obviously I had to wait how many more years? I was so ecstatic. I did. I literally shed a tear when they won the championship. Long-suffering Knicks fan. Long-suffering. They were due. They were due. They were due to win. And sometimes you're due to win. You really are. You are definitely due to win. 71 retired. There you go, Mark. God bless. God bless. And you're hanging out with me for 2.5 hours on a friggin' Saturday. Good for you. Appreciate that. Minutes played, not games. CC second in the league in scoring, first in assists, fifth for guards and rebounding. Definitely in the conversation, Chris. 100%. Definitely in the conversation. All right, I'm going to allow you guys to continue to troll each other. We got to get a little bit of sleep. We got the overnights. We'll do a post tomorrow after the game. But like I said, comment. Hit me up on X. Hit me up on IG. I post a lot of stuff too. And this is the best way you can find me on Q, on the channel. If you guys like coffee as much as I do, 20% off. Use the promo code on Q. 20 fresh roasted coffee. I greatly appreciate all the engagement. Mike says, Q, 2.5 hours. Have you taken a breath? No, we just do this because you guys are engaging, man. You guys keep me rolling. That's why I love what I do. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. You got a little baseball. You got the trade deadline right around the corner. We're going to start diving into NFL. We will do a post manana on a Sunday edition. But like I said, play nice, be fair, be respectful. It's only sports talk. It's not the end of the world. Don't let it get under your skin. Don't let me get under your skin. I won't let you get under my skin. You guys have a wonderful and blessed Saturday. Enjoy it if you're out and about, taking advantage of some of the weather as we basically just turn the page in July. Welcome to August, which means we are starting to get into college football and NFL gear. Trade deadline, WNBA. Tomorrow, little post after the Fever. Oh, and if she drops 35 and 10, Paul, mark it. You guys better be back on the chat. That's all I'm saying, but be nice. All right, have a wonderful sports Saturday. We're on demand as well. Check out the videos on demand on the channel. As always, be safe, be sound. Appreciate you checking out this edition of On Cue. I'm your host, as always, Rich Quinones. We will talk to you mañana after the Fever game. Until then, be safe, be sound. And as we like to say in the business, hasta luego, buen día.